welcome to Across the Omniverse, a podcast from Cinema Sangha. My name is Devin Faraci. I'm one of the hosts of the program, joining me as he traditionally does.
My name is Derek Faraci, and we know there are other dimensions than this one, but this is the dimension where we live, and we will not live in fear. How are you, Devin?
I am doing okay. Folks who listen to our hit podcast, The Bad Batch, which came out earlier this week, will know that my wall heater wasn't working. And I couldn't get it to turn on. I couldn't get the pilot light to go. So I called the building manager, and they sent, finally, maintenance over. And I got good news. One, that my heat is on. The heat is on. It's on the street. And two, it wasn't my fault.
Oh, no?
Yeah, you know what? Like, I'm like such like a non-masculine man that I can't do all of the house stuff I'm supposed to be able to do. And so I've just like given up. Like, I'm like, well, I get it. Like, you know, I tried it and it didn't work. And I go, I guess I just don't know how to do it. The maintenance guy came, and it turns out, if people also have been following our boring lives for a minute, when my building got fumigated, the gas company turned off the gas to the wall heater and didn't turn it back on.
Ah.
But also, my igniter...
Everyone didn't have?
No, just the one in the wall. On my wall. Like, each individual... They came into each apartment and turned off every single gas. Like,
they were like, fuck this guy in particular.
That seems to be what happened. And my ignition thing wasn't working, so it wouldn't have gone anyway. So they had to... So I you know how nice that feels to spend a couple of days going, well, I guess I'm just not a really useful man in any kind of way. And then to be told, oh, no, this is not your fault. This was not your fault.
There you go.
It's not just fucking Rob Williams hugging me. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. So, how are you doing?
Messed up because I believe Will Hunting was handcuffed to a radiator at one point, according to, if I remember the story correctly. So,
well, you know what? He might have wished...
a different radiator or heater story.
Yeah, he might have wished that one wasn't on, I guess, perhaps. How you... Oh, my God, he's on the green tea still.
I want you to know something. Again, if you listen to The Bad Batch, you'll know that yesterday I said I had 6 green teas. And Devin said, oh, it's going to mess up your sleep schedule, yada, 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 yada. Within a half hour of us finishing recording, I was asleep.
Wow.
I woke up at 7:30 a.m.
Wow.
So, fuck you. I can drink all the green tea I want.
Somebody did bring up the point that actually what you were doing was Danny McBride and Hot Rod.
Yes, which made me so happy because I love that clip. I love that clip. I love that movie. I'm a big fan of that movie. And that moment, I've been drinking green tea. I've been drinking green tea all day. I go to church. I love it. That was the movie where I first saw Danny McBride. I was like, who is this guy? He is amazing.
That might have been my... No, I saw Foot Fist Way.
You saw Foot Fist Way.
Yeah, I saw
you
Foot
told
Fist
me
Way.
After I saw that, and I said I liked him. You're like, you got to see Foot Fist Way.
Yeah.
And then I saw that. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, well, congrats on the green tea. Look at Mr. Green Tea over here. Mr. Big Green Tea Man.
Mr.
Very
Big
exciting.
Green Tea?
How's unemployment continuing?
It's fine, I guess. I got to go to this place tomorrow to prove that I exist. And then, in theory, my unemployment stuff is all set up. And they'll start sending me money. We'll see.
That's good.
In theory. God only knows what's going to pop up.
Let's find out if you exist.
I'm pretty sure I exist. It would be amazing if I showed up and they're like, you don't exist.
How do you know you exist? How can you know that you exist?
I mean, I think, and therefore I am.
Yeah, but I'm not really convinced that 100%, you know...
You're not convinced that I think?
Well, no, I'm not convinced that you think, because I do not have access to your head, so I cannot know that you exist. But also, I can't know that I exist. I could be a brain in a jar. I don't know.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I could be the function of somebody else's dream. I have no way to prove that I exist.
Well...
Bring this up to the unemployment people.
Yeah. This would be great. Yeah. And they'll be like, so do you want someone to help you with your resume? I'm like, does it matter?
What even is a resume? Well, good luck. Yesterday you said that you like to not watch TV during the day on unemployment, that you like to be busy doing things. Were you doing things today?
I did. I cleaned my whole apartment.
Nice.
I worked some more on my personal site, and then I applied for more jobs.
How many jobs you applied for at this point?
I don't know, 700.
Where are you finding them?
Indeed, Monster, thinking of places I like and going to there and being like, do you have jobs? Let's see. Let's look at your career stuff. You know.
Do you know who's hiring?
This time next week, I might be an editor for DC Comics. Who knows? It's not going to happen, but I applied. Why not?
You know who's hiring?
Who?
ICE.
Yeah, that I'm not going to do.
I'm just saying, very low qualifications necessary, big paycheck, and they really are hiring a lot of people.
Yeah, they are. I would. I'm not doing that. And any, at this point, any thing that breaks down like what the job is, and it's like, oh, you'll be teaching AI how to do stuff. I'm like, I'm not applying for that job. You know, because that's essentially applying for a job that's like, take this gun, put the barrel in your mouth, and shoot yourself.
Oh, what a dream. They pay you for that now?
Yes.
For shooting yourself in the head? Boy.
It's called training AI to do what you do. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, here on across the Omniverse, we used to be a comic book oriented podcast, but no longer. We're kind of doing it all now. And that means that our news has expanded in scope, and I think this week's episode is going to prove that. Because I know we do have some news this week.
No, we don't. I deleted it all.
You deleted. Good for you. Nice work.
Like what you put in there. I was like, nah.
Nice work.
Lanterns has been pushed back to the end of summer 2026.
What does this mean, you think?
I think it means that HBO scheduling moved it. I think that's what it means.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know. They have other things they want to get out.
They just told us it was coming out early in the year. Like weeks ago. That's the thing. So it's kind of interesting to me.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know how these things work. So who knows? I don't know. You know, I mean, it could be an issue. It could be that they're like, oh, we should save it and then we can push it for award season or something. I have no idea.
I mean, here's the thing. Warner Brothers is in a weird place right now because they are trying to get sold. Paramount Skydance just issued a statement claiming they are not working with the Saudis to get money together to buy Warner Brothers. However, the Trump White House is pretty psyched at the idea of them buying Warner Brothers, and in fact floated to David Ellison at Skydance the idea of specific CNN anchors to fire when they buy Warner Brothers.
That's good.
Netflix, though, is stepping up to the plate, and the latest news from that is that they are guaranteeing theatrical releases for Warner Brothers films.
They're guaranteeing theatrical releases for films that are already contractually obligated to go to theaters. Let's be very clear.
Okay, fair enough.
You know,
I never thought I'd be like rooting for Netflix to buy Warner Brothers.
Yeah. I mean, none of it's good, but you know, I do like that Netflix started off by like negging Warner Brothers. Like weeks ago, they were like, we wouldn't want them. What do we want them for? And now they're like, I guess, maybe. Let's see. We'll put in more money than everyone else. You know. So, I mean, it would be nice if Netflix bought them and did keep theatrical, because if they don't, that's kind of a massive injury to theatrical at that point. That's like losing. Like Warner Brothers is always like one of the top three.
Yeah,
for theatrical.
I would have to imagine they would probably keep the tent poles. You know what I mean? Like all your DC and stuff like that. I'm imagining they would continue releasing. But you know,
HBO just become like a subsection of Netflix?
I don't know. You know what's really interesting though? Wake Up Dead Man comes out next week. That's a Netflix picture. The third Knives Out movie. It's playing at no AMCs, and that's because Netflix hates AMC.
Although they did the Tokyo, what is it called? The K-pop Demon Hunters.
It's really interesting that they did that, because I do wonder if that was just a bite the bullet and make the money thing.
Yeah. They're
not expecting to make a lot of money on this, the same way, like, so Frankenstein didn't play at AMCs. Right. And so it's the same thing here, which really I think sucks, and I really hate it, and it's shitty. So I had to buy a ticket as opposed to do A-list.
No, there you go.
That's heartbreaking, isn't it?
It is.
It is heartbreaking.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to see it because it's not playing I'm going to be, when it comes out, I'm going to be in North Carolina, and it's the closest theater that is playing it from where I will be is 4 hours away. So
I guess you don't
see it then.
I doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion.
You should.
What's the movie theater situation like in that town where our mother lives?
There's 2 multiplexes, I think.
Really?
Like not like in the town itself, but like on the outskirts of the town, like within like 10, 15 minutes.
How far is that for you to walk?
I have no idea.
And they play like a good selection of movies? Are you going to go to the movies while you're out of town?
Probably, yeah.
So what are your Thanksgiving plans? I guess this is a good time to ask that, as any.
I'm going to go hang out with our mom and eat food and see movies, maybe.
Go down to North Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, we have no family in New York anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, everybody's gone. Everybody's gone. That's cool.
I'll stake out, see where I'll be living after I can't get a job for 5 months, and then you have to move there.
That's why I was wondering if this is walking distance for you or not.
I'm going to find out.
Yeah, I was very curious about it. I'm doing nothing for Thanksgiving, which is what I do most years. I don't particularly celebrate holidays that much. But I'm thinking I might break my diet and have myself a big-ass bowl of pasta.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I might do that. I might make myself a pasta dinner and just break my diet. Yeah. So, yeah, no, isn't that exciting? I'm giving thanks. I'm giving thanks for my pants that fit right now.
Perfect. I'm wearing pajamas because I'm unemployed.
I'm wearing jogging pants, which is what I wear every day all day.
I'm wearing my jammies. I am wearing sneakers, but I got my jammies on.
Nice. What's our next news item?
Empire had a article about Daredevil Born Again. We got a new look at Daredevil in his black suit, but he's got the DD.
You win some, you lose some, right? That's like sort of how it's going around here.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Sana Amanat, one of the producers, said the landscape was open. That was so liberating. We were like, we can do whatever we want. We know that's not true because I feel like if they could do whatever they want, the final scene of season 1 would not have been a bunch of random characters that we don't know standing at the bar. They would have filled it with characters we knew.
Maybe now in season 2 they can do what they want, though, is what I'm saying.
Well, here's another piece. Punisher's not in season 2.
That actually makes sense. No,
it doesn't.
Why not?
Because it's a war in the city between the vigilantes and the mayor, and the Punisher is just going to go take a nap?
Well, I guess we'll see what happens in the Punisher special.
Yeah.
Like, the Punisher special may tie into this.
I guess it might.
That's very possible. You know what I mean?
He's also going to be hanging out with Spider-Man, who also is not involved in any of this.
Yes. Yeah, he's going to be involved with Spider-Man. Although, who knows? Maybe Spider-Man will say that he was involved. You know what I mean? Like,
maybe.
I guess we'll find out.
You didn't see me?
Yeah, I was there the whole time, bro. I was in the bar. It was me and the bartender hanging out. We'll see. I mean, you know, we liked
season... They wouldn't let me in because I'm underage.
We like season 1 of Born Again enough, and so we're hopeful for season 2.
Yes.
All right, what else we got?
They are rebooting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with a new live-action movie. They're working with what's his name, producer of the Sonic movies, right? Neil Moritz.
Yep.
For a new live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4-quadrant approach, something new for the Turtles.
Finally, we're going to make it accessible to children. That's what 4-quadrant mean in this particular situation.
I have no idea. Has there been a non-4-quadrant Turtles movie?
I will say that the Michael Bay one was pretty close to being non-4-quadrant.
I mean, only in that no one should see it.
It's 0-quadrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we're just going to keep going back to this Ninja Turtles well forever and ever and ever, aren't we?
Sure, they're a huge property, man.
I guess, but like... I guess it's been a minute since the last live-action movie, which was horrible, where the turtles look like living nightmares. But I'm assuming these turtles will be much closer to the actual design of the turtles.
I mean, they're going to be CG.
Yeah, but they were CG in that one, too.
That's true.
And they were just horrendous. They were just horrible.
Yeah, they were like
near turtle monsters.
Tall monsters for some reason.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, sure, why not? Let's do it. Let's do turtles again. Why not? America's being destroyed around us. Let's bring back turtles again. Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Always more space for turtles.
Always more space for turtles.
Yeah. There's a Charli XCX mockumentary coming out called The Moment. You put this in here. I don't know why.
It looks really interesting.
It looks like it's a trailer made to give people seizures.
Oh
so
my God, the flashing is unreal. Yeah, it's real. It's real bad. Hold on, let me grab my phone because I had her Letterboxd up. This is why it's interesting. Hold on one second.
He's gonna go get his phone. Oh, he got it.
What was that?
I thought you were gonna get up and do stuff, but no, you just had to stretch over.
I just had to stretch over, but I didn't want to pull the mic down with me. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to take the headphones off so I wouldn't have to pull the mic down. So Charli XCX is actually like a film person. Sure. Like for real. And so here are the last movies that she has watched according to Letterboxd. The Dead by John Huston. John Huston's The Dead. The Long Goodbye. The Mighty Aphrodite. She's been watching a bunch of Woody Allen's. She watched Love and Death. She watched Husbands and Wives. She watched La Ventura. She watched To Live and Die in L.A., Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, The New Naked Gun, and then also Sorority Row and Shivers. She watched...
How far down this list are you going to go? Are you kidding me?
This is all the last 2 weeks.
The XEX?
This is like the last 2 weeks. But I'm saying, like, this is really... These are really interesting films. She's watching interesting films. She's not just like watching junk. She's very interested in real cinema. And so that was what I think makes this interesting. Besides the fact that it's a mockumentary. Now, obviously, like there's going to be an element to it that like is maybe or maybe not going to work necessarily. But it sort of seems like a satire of the pop. Did you watch the trailer? You watched the trailer.
I did. Yeah. It almost gave me a seizure.
It's like seems like a satire of the pop superstar thing, so I think it could be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be interesting, but I think it could be interesting, and it's not just I think an easily dismissible like tour movie, although she clearly shot some of it on tour, which makes a lot of sense. You get a lot of production value out of that, you know what I mean? Sure. So it's funny because the trailer, you maybe don't know that it's a mockumentary until there's a part where she's on the red carpet and there's some guy going, "You saved my life. I drew this picture of you." And the picture is terrible. And she goes, "Oh." And you're like, okay, this cannot be real. This is insane. And it is not real. So the director is a new director. He directed a bunch of music videos, won awards for that. So who knows what that'll be like. But I don't know. I'm just saying I think it's really interesting. And it's something I think to keep an eye on is my take on it. It's called The Moment.
Yes.
All right.
I think they already perfected the pop star mockumentary. It's called Pop Star Never Stopping.
Yeah, but it's not with a real pop star. That's the thing that I think makes this interesting. I like when stuff like this crosses the streams of documentary and mockumentary, where you're not always 100% sure where one ends and one begins. It's always, I think that's really fun.
Yeah.
So. All right, what else we got?
What else do we have? Oh, The Pope Loves Movies. This was you.
You just don't care.
Yeah, The Pope Loves Movies. Okay.
But, like, this was really interesting. You don't think that this is interesting? Did you, like, read the thing?
Yeah, I've read about it. It's The Pope Loves Movies. And he's like, "Hey, we got to save the theaters." All right, cool. Thanks, man. Hey, Catholic Church, you got billions of dollars. You can perhaps trillions of dollars. Toss some into a theater.
You don't want the Catholic Church owning a theater. You don't want that.
I don't want the Catholic Church having billions of dollars.
I know, but I'm saying you don't want them owning a theater because they're gonna have rules about what can or can't play.
Sure, but it would be a tax-free theater, and then
no, it would not be tax-free. They would not be tax-free.
Every movie starts with a sermon.
Anyway, why do you not think that's interesting? I'm kind of curious, like why you think that's like dismissible.
I think, I mean, because he's a human being. Yeah, he likes movies.
But it's not just that he likes movies. It's that he gave a sermon where he brought filmmakers to the Vatican to talk about the importance of cinema in the spiritual life of the world, and where he talked about how the algorithm is destroying our spiritual lives. Like, I think and he did it like in his capacity as the Pope. He didn't just do it as the guy from Chicago. He was like, in his capacity as the Pope, he's like, Jesus Christ told me cinema is important and it brings us together. Like, whatever the Pope says, Pope's infallible, you know? So that's not nothing, you know what I mean? So I think it's really interesting in that in that perspective. Like, you don't often see faith leaders standing up and saying stuff like this, especially not global faith leaders. And there's not that many global faith leaders. Like, the Pope is sort of one of one. There's not really any other
like Jewish Pope.
There's no Jewish Pope. There's no Islamic Pope. There's the Dalai Lama. But like most other faiths aren't as centralized as Catholicism. There isn't even a Protestant Pope or there's nobody that speaks for all Protestants everywhere. The Pope speaks technically for Catholics, and there's billions of Catholics. It's not a small number of people. So I just think it's really interesting. And I think that this is a Pope that I am enjoying quite a bit. He's been really speaking out pretty seriously about ICE here in America.
Yes. I'm all for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really convinced it's in the remit of our news segment, so that's the thing. But I think it's just cool when a Pope stands up and says, like, this algorithm does not show us anything new. Art shows us new things. And I think that's just it's great. Like, I think his little sermon about it was great. And he's also speaking up for film workers at a time when in Italy, below the line, film workers are being treated very poorly. In particular, there's like a lot of labor strife. So that means a lot too, that he's speaking up for the workers. So I just think it's very cool.
I think it's fucked up that he's gonna send Spike Lee to hell, but that's just me.
That picture of Spike Lee giving him a Knicks jersey is like one of my favorite pictures of all time. Spike Lee is so excited.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's so excited. And the other news story is that in the front row at this thing,
this is
Dario Argento.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's incredible. There's no way that when he was releasing his films that anybody would be like, well, obviously Dario Argento is one day going to have a sitting with the Pope. I mean, that's just obvious.
No, what the news for me would be if the Pope walked in and he's like, fucking Argento.
Dario!
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be very cool. Scorsese was not there, though, was he?
No, but Scorsese's already met the Pope and stuff, and I suspect he was busy or something. I don't know. I'm sure he must have been invited. There's no world that Scorsese was not invited. He actually just put out
still angry about Last Temptation.
They are not. Scorsese just put out a new book, which is conversations between him and a priest that I have, but I have not started reading yet. It's brand new. It just came out this month. So it's him and a priest having conversations about movies and religion. So
there you go.
I will give a full report when I actually get around to sitting down and reading it.
Were the Russos there?
The Russos
what if
were
the Pope
there.
Shows up in Secret Wars.
The Russos were there, and the Pope was like, "So what's the deal? Is Tobey Maguire coming back for Secret Wars? Like, is this real? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Did you see these leaks? Did you see them?
Who's Sadie Sink?
Who's she playing? Tell me she's not playing the Spider Wasp totem. Tell me she's not playing that. But did you see the leak pictures?
Which ones?
The ones of the characters against white backgrounds.
Yeah, I don't think those are real.
They're real because Benedict Cumberbatch has a full beard, and he's never had a full beard as Doctor Strange before.
That doesn't mean they're real.
Do you think they're AI?
I think it's very possible. Sure.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess it could be. There's a Tobey Maguire one. That was the thing.
Yeah.
It makes sense he'd be in it. I mean, that seems reasonable that he'd be in it. A lot of rumors.
Him and Andrew Garfield are going to be in it. I imagine anyone they can get to show up for half a day that they can then turn into a moment.
Well, that speaks to the big rumor that Sadie Sink is playing Mayday Parker, which is Peter Parker's daughter from another dimension. They'll have just her be Toby's daughter. Actually makes a tremendous amount of sense. And she's definitely in Secret Wars, by the way. That's been reported in the trades.
That was reported in the trades, but not from anyone. That was just a reporter saying she's making...
No, I know. They do that.
Play,
they do that all the time.
She's going to do Secret Wars.
No, I know. They do that in the trades all the time, though. That's a very common thing. They just drop a thing. Back when I used to be doing really heavy news writing, you would have to read every single news story because they would just all of a sudden at the end of the story just drop the next 6 things somebody was doing, and there would be something interesting in that. But they would not turn it into its own story. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Seems like a weird one.
It's the way that it works. But if she's playing Mayday, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, if she's in Spider-Man, it makes a lot of sense. Everyone's going to be in Doomsday and Secret Wars.
I don't know if everyone's good. I don't know if Punisher going to show up, but maybe he will.
I would not be shocked if he shows up.
I guess we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, they're going to toss everybody into these because
I can tell you for a fact that Charlie Cox is not in Doomsday.
Yes, Charlie
And
Cox
he is not.
Doomsday.
He is not in Spider-Man. I can tell you both of
Yes.
unless they do reshoots later to add him. I can tell you for a fact that he is not in Spider-Man. I know that now.
Yeah.
I found out. I asked around. Why was he in London? He was in London for a different movie, and he was not doing Spider-Man. And again, they always can do reshoots. They can always pick up him for a scene or whatever. So who knows?
Yeah.
But as of right now,
What if when he was in London, they secretly filmed him and he doesn't know? They pulled a bow.
they both fingered him.
Yeah.
They both fingered Charlie Cox.
So like there's going to be a moment in Spider-Man where there's like an explosion, and then it's just going to cut to Charlie Cox walking down the street and reacting to a sound, and that was like a PA off on the side like banging a trash can, so it would freak him out.
Oh, they're gonna shine lights in his face as he walks down the street, so he has to put on sunglasses.
Exactly.
All right. What else we got?
The trailer for Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping came out.
I want to hear your thoughts on this before I talk.
It looks fun. I like the Hunger Games movies, so I'm down. The last one I really liked a lot, and this one looks fun. It's got a lot of people in it, big cast, so I'll see it. There you go. I don't know. I mean, these aren't movies that I'm like obsessed with or anything, but they're enjoyable. They're good movies. They're well done. They're pretty dark. They're pretty grim movies. I mean, they're kids murdering each other is the entire story, and they've made what? This is the sixth, right?
Sixth. This will be the sixth one. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's impressive.
This one is about Woody Harrelson as a kid. This is the second quarter-quell, so it's the 50th Hunger Games, and Woody Harrelson will have already been a Hunger Games winner. The kid playing Woody Harrelson.
This confuses me.
What?
Because we saw President Snow in the first Hunger Games in the last movie.
Yeah.
Right? And he was already like 15, 16, I would say. He's supposed to be, even though the actor was clearly older.
But
he's supposed to be at high school age.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the 50th anniversary. And this is Woody Harrelson as a kid, as a teenager. But then the Hunger Games movies that take place after this, the original movies, he's in like his late 40s, early 50s. How old is President Snow?
Late 40s, early 50s? No, he's in his 70s or 80s.
Woody Harrelson?
Oh, Woody Harrelson. Oh.
Yeah. President Snow's got to be like over 100 years old.
The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is not the first Hunger Games, right?
It is, isn't it?
Is it the first Hunger Games? I don't think it is.
I thought it was. Maybe it's not.
No, it's not. It's not. It definitely is not.
Okay.
It's the 10th Hunger Games.
Okay, it's the 10th. So it's been 40 years since that.
Yes.
So at this point in this, President Snow would be like 50-something.
I think Ray Fiennes is playing President Snow.
Okay.
Or is it Ray Fiennes? That's what I'm thinking of. It's in this movie.
It looked like Ray Fiennes. In the movie.
Yeah. I think it's Ray Fiennes playing President Snow. I guess that Woody Harrelson then would be. Oh no, it's the 75th Hunger Games in the Hunger Games movies.
Oh, in the originals.
Yeah. 75th.
Okay, so it's been 25 years.
Yeah. So he's in his 40s or 50s, but that's even younger than Woody Harrelson actually is.
Not when they made those movies, though. Right.
I don't know.
I guess maybe it was.
Woody Harrelson's. He was in Cheers in the early 80s. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it all actually works out. Like President Snow, he's like very old in the original ones, but that's not that big a deal. It doesn't seem to me. He's 85 or something.
What's his face playing him?
Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland.
Who's old as shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that seems reasonable to me. What did you think of the trailer, though? Is what I'm asking.
I thought it was a good trailer. I liked the way it was cut. I thought it had a very like 70s sci-fi feel to it.
It 100%. That's exactly what got me really excited. It 100% felt like a 70s trailer, and with like the countdown and with all the different like sliding things and stuff like that. The colors, the Hunger Game itself. That's the opening where they all run for their weapons in the first opening part of the game. Looked like Midsummer, and that had to have been a reference point because this looks like a Hunger Games that they're doing like in bucolic. They shot it in Spain, so but like even like the little outfits they're wearing look like folk outfits, like real Midsummer to me. There's a volcano exploding in this one, which is kind of cool. Like
fun.
I would very much enjoy seeing them do like a rigged volcano explosion to kill some of the contestants. I think that'd be pretty great. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty psyched, man. Francis Lawrence, who directed this, all he does now is make movies about kids getting killed. because he did the last bunch of Hunger Games, and then he did The Long Walk.
Yeah,
which is
find
boy
your
Hunger
and
Games.
do it.
Yeah, just find what you love and do it.
Yeah,
killing kids.
Yeah.
I like Long Walk a lot.
I have not seen it.
I thought it was pretty damn good, and I love Ballad of Songbird and Snakes. I think it's like a legitimately really good.
It's a really good movie. It's a really good movie. Yeah, I just rewatched it a couple of months ago, and I was like, this is a really well done film.
Yeah.
And who's the actress in that? She's really good. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, what's her name?
Everybody gets angry at.
We're so bad at this.
Everybody hates her. For some reason.
I keep wanting to say Rachel Dolezal, but that is not. It's Rachel Zegler.
Rachel Zegler. Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Rachel Dolezal, who, by the way,
definitely not Rachel Dolezal.
Rachel Dolezal is very active on Instagram.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, they keep putting her in my feed, and she also has an OnlyFans. Rachel Dolezal has an OnlyFans, and she's very active on Instagram.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do to live.
So, but Rachel Zegler is not Rachel Dolezal. I love Rachel Zegler. She is so hated on for reasons that legitimately baffle me, that honestly make no sense at all. Like, just make no sense.
Do not understand. I think she's a very good actor.
She's got an incredible voice.
What's it called?
Snow White?
Snow White. I haven't seen Snow White.
I'm sure it's a piece of shit, but like, how many pieces of shit have other people been able to be in? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, the reason that people are mad at her is because she is not Snow White in color. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. That's the issue. She is not like super duper white lady, and she's playing Snow White, and that makes everybody really upset.
They get very pissy about it because, God forbid they did something different. For some reason, she's impossible to find on the IMDb. There, she's like 80th listed on IMDb for the Hunger Games movie. Like, she wasn't even in like that top thing where it says stars.
Really?
And it's like, got 3 names. She's not there.
So weird.
Very weird. West Side Story. She was great.
Is it possible that this is listed alphabetically?
I believe it's listed in appearance order.
She was not the last person to appear in that movie.
No, but she appears late in the movie. So it's like all of the people that like President Snow knows and stuff, and all of his stuff before he meets her. So there's a lot of people there.
You know what's funny about movies like that too? People who show up and have like the students that are just sitting in the classroom. Names, yeah. They all have names, and they'll add themselves to IMDb. Those actors. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like this one. There's an actor listed. Where are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
I can't. The stuff that you
13. Okay, this person is listed 13th. Aomide Edigan. Their character's name is Pliny Harrington, parentheses, as a different name. So,
all right,
I don't know what that means.
Let's move along. You have now gotten caught looking things up, and this is always a dangerous situation for us on this show because you will just be staring off screen looking things up.
Well, while I do that, why don't you read 40 more movies that Charli XCX watched? How about that?
Oh, shit. Yeah. He's spicy today. Yesterday, when we were recording, the green tea made you happy, but today the green tea has made you irritated.
No, you...
I'm making you irritated?
Being a hypocrite like this is what irritates me.
Okay, let's go. Let's get the next news item.
That's it for the news. That's all I got.
That's all we got for the news?
Yeah.
I guess
you looked at the news, you added stuff.
I know, but I forgot. I just forgot what you wrote. I try to that way I can remain like sort of like it feels fresh.
Sure.
You know,
there was a DC thing I thought about adding. I decided not to.
What was that?
In that they put out a call for actors for Man of Tomorrow, and they're looking for a tall woman for a role, and everyone's like, it's got to be Wonder Woman, and it's like, I don't think you put out just like an open casting call for Wonder Woman.
If you put out, you might put out actually an open casting call for women, but you put out an open casting call for women for Wonder Woman. That's what you do. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you like you want the imagery of lines of women standing outside to do their audition. You know what I mean? Like we want to cast the freshest, new, exciting face as Wonder Woman. That's when you do that. But you would say Wonder Woman. I think I don't. Yeah, as Buddy Todd pointed out, there's a big lady who hangs out with Brainiac, Vivacia or something like that.
Sure.
Velveeta.
Velveeta
the Valkyrie. That's what I think it is. All right. Well, we got letters in that case.
We do. Sebastian writes, Is box office an argument for the quality of a movie or not? It might seem simple, but what I mean is that even when us film nerds say it isn't, I think we still fall into it. When a movie we do like does well, we say, well, of course it did. And the same thing when a movie we don't like bombs. I think Devin once said people talk about box office too much in general, but it seems unavoidable.
You know, I just shared today on my Blue Sky feed an Instagram post that I saw, and it's from an Avatar fan group, and the Avatar fan group says that we have to, you know, as fans, we have to get Avatar 3 over the $3 billion mark so it makes history. And then the hashtag is see Avatar 5 times. And that is one of those times where you're like, oh, this is bad. Like, this is a bad focus on box office. Because, first of all, like, all of these movies are getting made.
Yeah.
Like, they're all getting made. Like, there's not, like, an issue where we're like, God, we need to get the story finished. Please go out and see it.
Mean, we see a lot. I mean, with that, yeah. But one thing I see all the time is when people are like, we have to support horror movies in the theater, otherwise they'll stop making them. It's like, my man, they made, like, 7 a month show up in the theater. They're not going to stop making them.
They will. The thing is that if they stop making money, they will stop making them. Horror movies make a lot of money right now.
Yeah, they're cheap. And they make money.
But the thing is that they're not always going to make money. Horror movies come in and out of style. So, like, there have been periods of time where there weren't a ton of horror movies in movie theaters. Like, not that long ago. Now we get a lot. But 15 years ago, we did not get as many. And
I think 15 years ago, there were plenty.
I mean, I don't think...
There were 8 billion found footage movies every year.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's the beginning of the next renaissance that we're currently in. But, like, if you go back to, like, the beginning of the century and stuff like that, it's just not as much. It's just not as much. And especially in the 90s, it wasn't that much. Like, once the slashers died... What are you talking about? What?
The 90s had plenty. The 90s, they were doing more of, like, the classical horror and more of, like, what today they call elevated horror. But there was plenty of them.
Like what?
Bram Stoker's Dracula, Frankenstein. They made an American Werewolf in London sequel. What was that? American Werewolf in Paris or whatever.
I think that was in the 2000s. But the point I'm making, though, is that right now there's like...
I saw that when I was in high school. Or I was in college.
There's like 3 or 4 horror movies coming out a month, and that was not the pace that they were coming out back then.
Right,
I'm not saying they didn't make horror movies.
Still plenty.
Yeah, but if you're a horror movie person, you want a lot. I mean, that's fine. It makes sense. You want a lot.
Sure, but I don't think there's a fear that horror movies are going to vanish from existence.
I mean, I don't know. They definitely come in and out of vogue, and they're currently in vogue, but like that's not going to last. Eventually, we're going to get to a place where people don't release horror. It's going to be all just junky horror movies. And I also suspect what people are talking about is like good horror movies that have like budgets.
No, they'll talk about like that one where it's the possessed swimming pool. I saw people being like, you got to see it. We got to support horror. It's a fucking possessed swimming pool movie. Are you kidding me?
I mean, it could be interesting.
I mean, I suppose it could be, but the trailers didn't sell it well.
So I understand what Sebastian is saying here. We do like to say, oh, this movie did well, therefore it's good. I think that, though, for me, it's more like this movie did well, it connected. But that's not even 100% of the time. Movies do well and people don't like them. Like, that happens a lot. Like, that's just about marketing.
Every Transformers movie.
Yeah, nobody likes those movies. Somebody's going to show up and say, well, I love those movies.
The first one. People like the first one. I know that.
Yeah, but they just kept making them, and people kept coming out to see them. Yeah. And I don't want to start this argument again, but, like, I do think a big part of the success of the Avatar movies is that there's a sense of, like, oh, you're supposed to show up and see these. Like, whether or not, like, you're super into Avatar or you're thinking about Avatar in between the release dates of these movies, when they come out, there's a sense of like, oh, we should go see this. This is a movie to go see. But I do think that it's bad to focus too much on box office, especially now that none of it makes sense.
Sure.
This summer was a very bad box office summer. We had some very good movies. And it was a bad box office summer. And see, even the movies that we consider successes would not have been considered successes a couple of years ago. And it's so I do think that it's just not worth that much effort to worry about box office for us as film fans, because also we don't make the money. And at this point, I'm not sure if there's anything that comes out that I'm that worried about getting a sequel anymore. That's the only time I get worried about box office is when I want to see the next one.
Sure.
You know, like, oh, I got to find out what happens after this one. And I hope enough people see it so that we get the next one. But these days, I'm not like, I mean, I love Star Wars, but like if Star Wars just turned back into cartoons again, I don't think I would be super upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I feel like Marvel's going to end eventually, so sure, okay, I guess so. That's the case.
Yeah, I agree. Can I give a hot take about Avatar?
Yeah, what's that?
The trailer for the new one looks like a tech demo to me, and I think it's because all the dialogue in it is atrocious, and it just does not look interesting. Like I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's very well done, like technology wise, but boy, it seems very bland. So that's my thought.
I think it's funny. You know, we had the third Avatar coming out, and I just don't care about the Na'vi that much. Like, I just don't necessarily. I'm not like in love with them to the extent that I care about every single cultural difference of the different Na'vi.
Sure.
So, like, I wish there were other species that were sentient on this planet.
There's that human guy with dreadlocks.
He's a human.
Yeah, but he seems to be very important in this one.
Yeah, but he's a human. Though. He's not another alien species. He's just a regular person.
There's the dudes they fly on, but
they're not sentient. I'm talking about sentient beings that that characters that can speak or have stories. So I'm like, I'm not super like excited to find out every biome's different version of the Na'vi, unless the series ends with a Na'vi stand-up being like, you ever notice that the fire Na'vi walk like this? Like, if it ends up going towards, like, Na'vi racism, maybe I'd be interested. That might be interesting. But otherwise, I'm like, okay, great. There's some of the guys live in a volcano.
That would be amazing if, like, the last movie was, like, a Eurovision contest between all the Na'vi. And he's like, this is what I've been leading up to. A big musical number across 5-6 movies.
That would be so good. That would be so good. All right, what's our next letter?
Buddy Shane asks, I've heard Derek say many times, both on and off the pod, that he thinks Don Cheadle is the greatest actor of our time. What performances of his motivated you to form this opinion? Devin, do you agree with your brother?
I want to start. Yeah. No. Okay, you go.
Okay. Out of Sight, he's amazing. If you ever watched Black Monday, the show he did, that was amazing. His other show was called Lie to Me, I think is the name of it. Is really good as well. They were both like Showtime shows that nobody watched, but he's great in both of them. I think they're great. Hotel Rwanda, amazing. Ocean's 11, he's doing a really bad British accent, and it's very clearly on purpose, and people seem to think it's just that he can't do a good British accent. I'm not saying he can do a good one, but no one made that movie thinking he was doing a good British accent. And it's funny, and it's great. Boogie Nights, he's great. Like, he is great in everything. If he's the lead, if he's a secondary, if he's essentially like a fourth or fifth person in the group or whatever, and he's kind of a background player for a lot of it, he's always great. He never gives a bad performance. I've never watched anything with him and been like, that was all right. He could do better. I've seen movies he's in that aren't good, but he's always bringing it all. And everything he does. And he can be funny, he can be serious, he can be in the middle, he can do it all. He's great. He's the best. I don't know what to tell you.
I feel like this is a deeply psychological thing.
Yeah.
For you, in that you feel drawn to the underrated people who show up and do like good work and like aren't hogging the spotlight and stuff like that. I feel like that's a very psychological thing for you.
Sure, maybe.
I think it's a very psychological thing for you. It's pretty weird that he made Hotel Rwanda and then also the sequel Hotel for Dogs.
Yes. Yeah.
He is actually in Hotel for Dogs.
I mean, he is. I know. Yeah. And that was his hotel phase. He was doing that.
What's the third film in Don Cheadle's hotel trilogy?
Is he in the Grand Marigold Hotel? Is he in one of those?
Grand Marigold
Hotel. Of those? He could be in one of those.
I don't know what that even is.
You don't remember those? There's old people going to a hotel to fuck. At least that's what I think it is. I never saw him.
Is this like a porno that you've been watching?
No, it's got like famous old actors in it.
What?
Grand Marigold Hotel.
The best exotic Marigold Hotel?
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah.
You believe they made 3 of them?
I think they made at least 2 of them.
There's a sequel, the second best exotic Marigold Hotel.
Yeah. See, I said at least 2.
But I think everybody here is British. There's not a Don Cheadle doing his bad British accent in this picture.
Well, that's too bad.
Boy, it really sounds like a porno when you describe it that way.
What's great is if you look up on IMDb, if you look up Best Exotic, the first thing come up is Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, and then second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, and then the making of Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, and then Exotic Excellence, the Best of Adrian Street, which is very clearly a softcore porn.
It seems to me that you're confusing the making of the Best Exotic Marigold. I mean, maybe it's such a great making of. It's like one of those documentaries that in and of itself is a film.
No. I'm not saying there's 3. I said there's sequels. I didn't know how many. That's all I said.
Okay.
That's all I said. And there is a sequel, so that counts.
There you go. That's the Don Cheadle story. What's our final letter?
Our final letter, lock it down. Christian says, "Dearest Game Warden, Derek, you vile fiend. How dare you suggest that Adrian Veidt isn't a top-level human in creativity? I want to call your attention to 2 things. First, regarding the play, remember that this is in the year 1 of his confinement. There's nothing that suggests he's trying to write the next Shakespeare play. Really, he's just filling up his time. And I don't think it's necessarily the writing that's bad, although it assumes that everyone thinks and speaks like him, which makes sense for a megalomaniac. It's that he has next to no sets props besides a furnace and terrible actors. If Camus debuted a play at Franklin Middle School, you would probably think it sucks too. Second, let's remember that at the very moment we're watching right now, Veidt is putting into place one of the most elaborate and spectacular escape plans of all time. Sure, it requires his scientific and engineering know-how, but it takes a ton of creativity to even think it through. On top of that, although the game warden gets a few small victories, remember who stands tall in the end. What say you now? P.S. The tomatoes sure were tasty." I think you agreed with me. You said everyone thinks and speaks like him in the play. That's bad writing. That's all I'm saying. He's a bad playwright. So I win. That is a beautiful letter, though. Thank you very much.
It is a really good letter. I also have a letter I need to read, which we didn't read on our Bad Batch, but I promised I would read here. And it's the essay in response to my Ferris Bueller, shitting on Ferris Bueller. And it comes from Eric P. "Hey dudes, this isn't a question, so feel free to just pass it on to Devin, but I think his take on Ferris Bueller deserves a little bit of a rebuttal. So here we go. Devin's reading is that Ferris is a Reaganite sociopath who cares little about other people and only himself, which strikes me as a surface-level interpretation that doesn't exactly actually engage with who Ferris is and what he does in the movie. Other than the antagonists, we're shown that almost everyone in the film not only knows Ferris, but has been helped by him in some way. From the other students, he's getting me out of summer school, to Charlie Sheen's burnout, there's somebody you should talk to. Ferris repeatedly functions as a champion of the people. He is the bodhisattva trickster. He rejects status, anxiety, outcomes, and lives fully in the present. He's not trying to win anything. He's simply free. And like a bodhisattva, he stays in the messy world, high school, parental expectations, suburban inertia, instead of withdrawing from it because others need him. Ferris is enlightened. He recognizes that his life shouldn't be defined by the typical status quo, whether he's in high school, a snooty restaurant, or anywhere else. Is that privilege, or is it an ethos that's closer to punk rock? He is so enlightened, in fact, that he can break the fourth wall and speak to us as if he's already transcended the roles and routines everyone else is trapped in. Let's look at the antagonists and see what their goals and motivations are. Vice Principal Rooney is clearly an unhappy man who has built his entire sense of identity around his fragile status as an authority figure, one that bears little weight anywhere else, as we see when even strangers at a sports bar don't respect him. Ferris threatens the one thing that gives Rooney any sense of self, and he must seek revenge, because if he can't catch Ferris, what does that say about him? The fact that Rooney dedicates his entire day to destroying this kid says more about Rooney than it does about Ferris. Ferris lives rent-free in his head because Ferris represents the one thing Rooney can never be: free. Ferris's sister Jeannie spends the entire film asking, why does he keep getting away with this? She tells Charlie Sheen that she's insecure about living the way Ferris does because she's terrified of getting caught. How could she possibly do what he does without consequences? She's so imprisoned by the status quo that she can't admire her brother's philosophy. She's threatened by it. Charlie Sheen articulates her problem perfectly. Your problem is you. You ought to spend a little more time worrying about yourself and a little less time worrying about what your brother does. And it takes hearing from this peak hunk dirtbag Charlie Sheen, not FERRIS, for her to finally accept that she also can have that superpower if she chooses. Her roadblocks were entirely self-constructed. By the end of the film, she achieves her own version of enlightenment, and when she is caught, she does face consequences. And what happens? The world doesn't end, and she got to make out with Charlie Sheen. She stops keeping score, starts thinking about herself, realizes she's tougher than she believed, and stands up for FERRIS against their common enemy, Rooney. Rebellion doesn't have to belong to FERRIS alone. Now, let's look at the actual protagonist and hero of the story, Cameron, not FERRIS. The surface level reading that FERRIS just wreaks havoc. You were right, this is very long. The surface level reading.
But it's all correct.
The surface level reading that FERRIS just wreaks havoc on some poor guy's life because he wants to ditch school misses that the true arc of the movie belongs to Cameron. FERRIS is the catalyst. Most viewers can't be FERRIS. He's a wish fulfillment myth. But Cameron? He's anxious, overparented, afraid of adulthood, terrified of consequences, and stuck in his own head. He's us. FERRIS is who we'd like to be. Cameron is who we actually are. Cameron is the film's real hero, the coming-of-age protagonist whose fear, repression, and self-loathing are cracked open by FERRIS's chaos, allowing him to finally claim agency. When Cameron stares at a sundae on La Grande Jatte, John Hughes said that the more Cameron looks at the little girl, the less he sees. There's nothing actually there. Cameron feels the same is true of himself, and if anyone looks too closely, they'll find nothing there. This is what he has to overcome. And FERRIS says it outright, revealing his true intent for the day off. All I wanted to do was give him a good day. That was his goal all along. Cameron's resolution is realizing that fear he saw in that painting, that if you look too closely there might be nothing there, isn't true of him at all. He discovers there is something there, strength, anger, agency, and a self worth fighting for. Yes, Ferris Bueller is not an underdog story, but instead it's a liberation fantasy. Life is wasted on routine, fear, and obligation. Free yourself just for a minute and see what happens. That's the lesson Cameron and Jeannie learn, and one Rooney could learn if he could get over himself. I'm not saying Devin needs to love this movie. If it doesn't hit you, it doesn't hit you. But dismissing it as some spoiled rich kid being a brat with no regard for consequences is ignoring what the film is actually saying. There's been a lot of reassessment of John Hughes' movies over the years. He was a Midwest Republican white guy in his 40s, writing about teenagers in the Reagan 80s, and there's plenty to litigate there, as Molly Ringwald and others have done recently. But I think the reason Ferris Bueller or The Breakfast Club still resonates so deeply is that at their core, they're fundamentally human stories, and I think Ferris is one of the best of them. Love the pod, love hearing you talk Watchmen, keep it up. That's a great letter.
That is a fantastic letter, and I fully agree.
That's a great letter.
Yeah.
Eric here knows that if he starts talking about bodhisattvas, that I'm going to be in bad situation, that I'm going to have to start agreeing with him. That's very challenging. That's dirty pool, but I appreciate it. And it's very well reasoned. It's very well reasoned. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. Do not expect to send something that long to us and have it read on the air. This is a rare thing. You know, I actually hadn't read that before I read it just now, so I had like no idea what he was going to say. So that was kind of exciting to discover it as we went. But maybe if I had read it first, I would have realized. You said it was like 9 paragraphs, and I was like, oh, Derek must be exaggerating. And then, no, Derek is not, in fact, exaggerating. But he put a lot of effort into it.
He put a lot of effort into it.
It's really good.
It's a very good look at the film and what makes the film good.
Yeah.
I fully agree with him. I mean, you know, I believe I said it on Watchmen that Ferris is, or Cameron is the main character of the movie. It's about him.
You just said that.
His stuff, yeah.
So if people want to have their questions answered but not deliver long essays, where can they send those questions?
They can send them to ask.cinema.sangha@gmail.com. In the subject line, put what show it's for, Bad Batch, or what is this, Across the Omniverse? And one question per email, please. And also, if you're watching this right now on YouTube, why don't you like and subscribe? We'd appreciate that very, very much. And if you're listening on a podcast, why not give us a review and like maybe 5 stars or something? That'd be fun. That's something to do with your time. Why not?
And if you're listening to this, but you don't listen to our other podcasts, know that if you go to www.patreon.com/cinemasangha, SANGHA, you can join our membership program where you will get, for the low price of $3 a month, our weekly Star Wars podcast, The Bad Batch. Or for just $7 a month, you get that, and you also get Watchmen, which is our deep dive movie podcast. We normally do superhero movies, but we've begun branching out. The latest episode is a 4-hour opus about The Last Jedi. And I think it's a pretty good episode. It's not hitting the same normal notes. We're actually talking about the movie as it is, as opposed to arguing about culture stuff or is this really Star Wars or not. We're just talking about the movie. I mean, obviously we have to touch on that stuff because it is part of the story of Last Jedi. But, I think it's a pretty damn good discussion. So go join us at www.patreon.com/cinemasangha, SANGHA. All right, Derek, you ready to talk about the next episode of HBO's Watchmen?
I sure am.
Let's do it. Watchmen, Season 1, Episode 5, Little Fear of Lightning. I want to talk about two things up front before we get into the episode. One is that this title comes from 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea. Okay. And which is also where the name of, when they say, are you a friend of Nemo? Later on, that's referring to this. It is not referring to Finding Nemo. The full quote from 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea is, if there was no lightning, if there was no thunder, men would have little fear of lightning. And I like that because it thematically plays into the discovery that Looking Glass makes in this episode, about how fear works. The other thing is I was watching this, and maybe this is like a post at the end of the episode discussion, but I want to do it here. Is this show the peak of the comic book superhero adaptation era? Like, is this the best, the pinnacle of it?
I'm hesitant to say yes.
Because just the Zack Snyder's Justice League exists?
No, because I don't think it's a good representation of... It's a good show. It's not a good representation. The same issue that I have with Watchmen. It's not a good representation of superhero comics. It's a deconstruction of it, and it breaks the rules of superhero comics to deconstruct it.
Yeah, but it's still an adaptation of a superhero comic. So therefore, it falls under. It's the pinnacle of this era of adapting those things.
But to me, the pinnacle has to capture what makes superhero comics special.
Really?
I think that's part of the pinnacle. Otherwise, you're not.
So you think that it would have to? There's no
no one's going to sit there and be like, oh, the Yankees of year X are the pinnacle of a baseball team, except they used bazookas to make sure nobody could catch the ball. Like they were shooting the other players of the other teams. Then you're not following the rules. You're not playing within the boundaries, and that's I think an important piece of it of the pinnacle is within the boundaries of what this genre, this format.
But they're not comic books. They're adaptations. So they're never going to be comic books. So they have to be different. So within the context of this is a thing that takes this stuff and adapts it into another format in another way, I just feel like that nobody's ever done anything as good as this, like at all. And I think also, by the way, that this captures so many elements of the aesthetic of the comic, both intellectually and visually. Like that bit, like where young Looking Glass is standing in front of the mouth of the clown after the psychic blast goes, and he's perfectly centered. That's a comic book panel. It's a perfect comic book panel. And the way that some of these, I talked last week about the match cuts. The match cuts are from Watchmen. There's really a lot of amazing match cuts in Watchmen and in the comic. And so I don't know. I just also think that like it is dealing with thematics that are related to. It's not like a super. I mean, I don't know. I think that your definition is very very limiting. And there will never be a movie that captures what makes comic books special because they're comic books. That's what makes them special. They cannot be captured. There's no way to do it.
No, but if we're talking about an adaptation, obviously there's space to be. But like
what's a better superhero comic book adaptation than this?
Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse.
You think it's better than
art styles? It crosses into like it has panel breakdowns.
I guess maybe the disconnect here is that I'm not saying the movie that most captures what a comic book is. I'm saying what's the best one. What's the best one?
But also, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse is an amazing movie. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie, but I think that this is an actual masterpiece. I think that this show is a masterpiece. I think it is an absolute masterwork. I think it is one of the best examples of a short-form television series ever made. Like, I honestly do. I think that this show is truly
it's great. It's an amazing show. It's fantastic. But if we're saying, like, captures the essence of these things...
I didn't say captures the essence. You did.
But to me, that's part of being the pinnacle. You have to have the elements. You have to have the ingredients. And I don't think this has all the ingredients. And that is part because Watchmen itself does not have all the ingredients. It's part of what the story is. And then they add in extra ingredients that you would not normally find in a superhero story. So I think that changes it. That shifts it.
I want to hear from the listeners.
If we were talking, what is the pinnacle of Frankenstein adaptations? What would you say?
I mean, the honest to God truth is that I probably would say Bride of Frankenstein, which is a terrible fucking Frankenstein adaptation.
Okay, there you go.
It's not a good Frankenstein adaptation, but I think it's the pinnacle. I think it's hitting themes and elements of what was being done in Frankenstein, and I think it is also one of the great movies, period. And so I think it's the pinnacle of Frankenstein adaptations.
All right, there you go.
So what would you say?
I mean, I would say Young Frankenstein, but I've never read Frankenstein, so...
You have no idea.
No, but Young Frankenstein is my favorite Frankenstein movie. Young Frankenstein is my favorite Frankenstein movie. But what I'm saying is that, like you said, Bride of Frankenstein is nothing like Frankenstein. So it's an adaptation, in that we're using some of the characters and we're going to go do our own thing,
and we're using some of the concepts, which is that in the novel, the creature wanted a bride, and so that's what they're picking up on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think that yours is too limiting, and I'm actually very curious what the listeners have to say. This feels like a good Discord discussion, I think. This good Discord discussion topic. Did you see I added a new channel on the Discord?
The Haters Holler?
Haters Holler.
Yeah.
I think it's having an outlet for negativity is important, but I also think having a specific place for it is a good idea. And I like what has happened with it so far. So, and I'm glad that everybody's sort of accepting it and bringing their intense hate into that. I mean, obviously people can dislike things in other channels, right? But I think everybody knows the difference between hating on a thing and disliking a thing. And so you don't agree?
No, I do agree. I haven't been in the Discord much lately. So
unemployed man, too busy for the Discord.
I had a lot more free time when I had a job. I loved my job. I really, really did. It really bums me out to have gotten laid off. It really, really does. Not just like monetarily, but like I really liked what I did. I really, really enjoyed what I did for a living. And it bums me out, but I'm not going to lie. This week, I've woken up much easier every day where I'm like, hey, all right. Like, I don't have to go and sit at a desk and just sit there all day. I do because I'm trying to stick to a structure. But like, it's no longer like I wake up and, sometimes I'll sleep past my alarm and then be like, I got to rush to make sure I'm online at the right time. This is when I tell people I'm available. I can take a little more time, I can goof about if I want and whatnot, or like get up and take a walk or whatever. And it's nice. I enjoy that aspect.
I mean, here's the thing. Jobs are unnatural. It's an unnatural state of being for human beings to have a job. Yeah. I'm not saying to work. Work is natural for human beings, but to have a job is unnatural, and that means like you have to be at a place at a certain time, and it's a really arbitrary thing. Like it's just like why my job can still be done. Your job could have been done starting at any time of the day. There's no real.
Well, I mean, I set my own hours. They never gave me hours. They were
really?
Like it was like you have to do 40 hours a week, but like you want to come on at midnight. You could work till whatever.
Could you do them all in one blast, like 24 hours?
No, because the
5 days
format
off?
of it, I had to work with people. Like it had to be 40 hours Monday through Friday, or I guess I could do weekends if I wanted to. But like they never gave me specific. You're on in like 9 to 5. Like they never gave me specific hours. I used to do 10 to 6, and then I was like, I'm going to switch to 9 to 5, and I just switched it. And they were like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. As long as you're getting your work done. That was their thing. I was like, is the work done? Work is done. So that's how they were.
Oh, well, there you go. But I think being unemployed is great. It's a good experience, and I hope everybody gets to have it with a low pressure on unemployed. Yeah. Like, i.e., you don't have kids, and you're not worried that you're going to be homeless. Like, I think that's the
which
key.
Is my situation. My pressure is I really like my life.
Right. You want to keep your life as it is. You don't want to change it. But yeah, you don't have kids, and you're not like going to be like living under a bridge. And so that's a much better experience of unemployment than any other ones. I know we have a number of listeners who have gotten laid off in recent years. Been a lot of layoffs. We have a lot of middle-aged listeners who work desk jobs and stuff. Those people get laid off all the time. Yep. And when you have kids, that's terrifying.
I can't imagine. No, I don't know what I would do if I had kids. I would be freaking out.
I mean, hopefully you have a wife that might work.
Yes. But still,
I think you could be a really good single dad.
Me? No.
Yeah, I think you'd be a really.
I would be a absolutely atrocious parent. There's not a doubt in my mind. Oh, without a doubt in my mind. I'd be a terrible parent.
I'd be such a good dad. I would only fly into rages like every 2 weeks.
I wouldn't fly into rages, I don't think. But I would be... I need time alone. I like being alone. And, if, too many people are bugging me, I get annoyed. And I don't hide my annoyances. And you should not do that. A kid's going to bug you. That's their primary goal in life as a kid, is to bother you and ask you things and need things and blah, blah, blah. It would drive me fucking crazy. I'd go bonkers in a minute. It would not work out for me. Like there are times like I've thought about many times, like I should get a cat, I should get a dog. And then I'm like, I got a dog. I got to take it for walks.
You love walking.
It's cold in the morning. I do, but I don't want to walk when it's cold in the morning. Like, I want to walk in my own time, not like this thing's got to take a shit, so I got to take it out. Like, it's annoying. So instead, I have friends with dogs, and sometimes I watch their dogs for a while, and that fills that hole.
You walk those dogs, though, right? I'm hoping.
No, because they just have yards, and I let them out in their yard. Yeah.
All right. Well, we open our episode in 1985 in Hoboken, New Jersey. We hear on the radio that shit is getting pretty bad in Eastern Europe. It looks like the World War III is coming. And the doomsday clock is at 1 minute till midnight. The doomsday clock is worse right now.
Yes, we're at like 82 seconds or something like that.
82 seconds is more than a minute, by the way.
Or we're at we're at
like 48 seconds.
48 seconds.
I'm going to look this up because I actually, as I was watching this, because that's what it's at 1 minute in the comic. Yeah. It right now is at right now it is at, 89 seconds. We're a little bit better than the comic. We're like 29 seconds better than the comic.
Looks like I was close to right the first time.
I think you were right, but
I said 82.
Oh, you said 82. But we're still pretty close. It's still pretty frightening. And anyway, we see that our good friend Wade Tillman is here in 1985. He is on a bus.
Can I tell you one thing that bugged me about this?
What's that?
The actor looks like Matthew Good, so I kept being like, he should have been a young Ozymandias.
We'll talk about young Adrian later because I have thoughts about that too. He is with a bunch of Jehovah's Witnesses. That's a specific reference. There's two reasons that they're Jehovah's Witnesses, I believe. I mean, the main ones anyway, because there's other stuff about like end of the world stuff. But one is that they have a publication called The Watchtower, which is just too good to not use. Two, in Watchmen the comic, there are Jehovah's Witnesses who show up, and in that issue, Alan Moore has the lyrics to All Along the Watchtower in the comic. So it's definitely hitting that. That's what's happening here.
Do they have to get clearance to use the Watchtower in this?
I don't believe they do.
No?
No.
Huh.
I don't believe they do. Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate holidays.
I do.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was a Jehovah's Witness.
Sure was. There's a great Jehovah's Witness birthday joke in Community.
Is there?
Yeah, because Troy is a Jehovah's Witness, and it's his birthday, and they get him a cake, and it says, "Here for you is a cake that has nothing to do with celebrating the day in which you exited from your mother's vagina," or something like that.
They are there to proselytize at this this little fair full of sinners, and everybody gets their little stack of panda magazines and go off into the crowd.
It's kind of funny that they travel from where is he?
Oklahoma?
In Oklahoma. They travel from Oklahoma to New Jersey to do this at a carnival that is about 2 blocks long. That seems like a long trip.
I mean, so I don't know if Jehovah's Witnesses do this. I mean, Mormons do.
Yes.
Mormons go on their little evangelicize their mission. So I don't know. Yeah. I actually don't know if Jehovah's Witnesses do this.
I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses go door to door.
Yeah, but I think they go door to door in their neighborhood is my usual understanding. But maybe they do sometimes have special. Hey, here we go. Headcanon. There was a Jehovah's Witness youth conference in New Jersey. And while they all have them out there, like, while we're here, let's go out there and save some souls. Because they're very worried that the world's about to end. So he sees a bunch of not tops. Not tops, we'll remember, are the punks, hoodlums from the original Watchmen. Yes. They take a drug called KT28 Katie's. One of the punks, his T-shirt says Katie's on it.
There you go.
They immediately begin giving him a hard time. And they knock the flyers out of his hand. They make fun of him. And then there's a one girl that's with them and is like, hey, leave him alone. And she goes, I want to hear about the pandas. And she takes him into the funhouse. And they start talking. And she's like, why are you in Jersey? He's like, that's because that's where sinners are. And she's like, can't argue with that one. And she's like,
Springsteen's whole career is about that.
She's like, do you think the world's really going to end? Like, do you think, like, have you heard Nixon on the radio? And he's like, yeah, I do think it's the end. She goes, so are you afraid? He goes, no, I am not. And she's like, hey, do you want to die a virgin? Because maybe this is your last chance to get laid if you are virgin, because the world's going to end tonight. And she begins undressing him, and he's like, no, don't. But like very like weakly. And she gets him fully naked, and then she picks up all his clothes and runs out of the
the other not tops grab his clothes.
Oh, that's right. The other, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so he is left ashamed. He calls himself a dummy and a sinner. He thinks about how he's going to have to go outside naked to meet the rest of his youth group and what he's going to say to them. And then at that moment, there's a huge noise and all the glass breaks. He has this horrible sound in his head that's freaking him out. All the glass in the funhouse breaks. And something horrible has happened. He staggers outside, and everybody's dead. Well, not everybody, but almost everybody.
Talk about a real day for this guy, for Wade. In the course of like 3 minutes, he thinks he's going to have sex for the first time, gets all his clothes stolen, and then a giant squid falls on Manhattan. In 3 minutes. That is a rough day. That's a rough day. Like there's a part of him that's got to be like, any one of those things would be enough to make me remember this day forever. I don't need all three at once.
Yeah, and Peteypedia mentions that he missed breakfast that morning, so it's been a bad day all along.
Oh, jeez.
No, it doesn't. I just made that up.
A rough time.
It's funny because I do think that some people would have this experience and would think that God was specifically punishing them, like God did something terrible to the earth because they were a sinner.
Yeah.
But he doesn't quite go there. He does get fucked up, though, obviously. And it's pretty brutal out there. Everybody's real dead. And we pull back and we go across the river and we see that there's the squid. We see the big squid in Manhattan. Never before in live action. This is a comic book accurate squid.
Yes.
And it looks pretty good.
Yes, it looked very good.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty
a good
cool.
Moment.
Yeah, I understand, again, why Zack Snyder... I'm not going to litigate should they have had a squid in the movie. I understand why they made that decision, and I think there is...
I think it was a good decision in the movie.
For a movie, I think it's a good decision. I think that for a TV show where you have more space, I think the squid is better.
Yeah, we can dig into it.
But I love that they kept the squid. It's just like, I never thought I would see the squid on screen. Just never imagined it. And here we are. We got it. We got the big fucking squid. Pretty great. Pretty great. And we then come to Adult Wade. And Adult Wade is watching a bunch of... Well, actually, we have this really interesting... We have a really interesting cut here, which is the camera zooms past. One of the streets that the camera zooms past in Hoboken is Sinatra Street. And that is a real street because Sinatra's from Hoboken. and New York begins playing. And then that turns into a commercial for we're coming back to New York. And it's all different people talking about like, hey, we saw the Oppenheimer musical.
Oppenheimer, the musical, Michael Imperioli shows up.
Yeah. And this made me really wonder, like, is he famous from The Sopranos? Like, what do you think?
There's a couple of pop culture stuff in this episode that I was like, how does this work? I'd like to know more. And I mean, Imperioli is definitely one. Like, is The Sopranos a thing?
But he's just famous from something else. Like he may have just become famous from something else.
Yeah.
I like in like alternate universe things. I like sometimes when the idea is that reality continues to bend towards certain things. So like somebody is famous in a lot of realities. Like Michael Imperioli is a famous actor in a number of realities. He's more famous in some, less famous in others. I like that. So I don't mind that he is famous. And they don't specify The Sopranos because I can't imagine what the fucking Sopranos is like in the Watchmen universe.
I mean, yeah,
those guys are very close to New York City. Like,
they were very close to New York City. They were definitely all like, what in there? Well, I mean,
they were adults.
Christopher would have been a teen.
About a teen, but most of them are adults. Yeah. Although Tony, maybe in that, Tony has extra dimensional anxiety, which is what that support group is for. Maybe that's what Tony's thing is. He has EDA, and he goes and he sees squids in his pool instead of ducks. Maybe
instead of ducks, it ends with squids falling out of the sky, like in this. Yeah.
It's a market focus testing group, focus group, sorry. And everybody gives this commercial amazing high scores, and Wade comes in and goes, they hated it. They hated every second. The guy's like, no way, they gave us 10s. And he's like, they're being nice. Like, they don't know what to say because they don't want to admit that they're afraid. They're afraid of going to New York. And the guy's like, it's been 30 fucking years. He goes, doesn't matter. Like, they're afraid of it.
Which, once again, very prescient, because there's so many people in the Midwest, in the middle of the country, that are like, if you go to New York, you're gonna get murdered. You can't go, but I'm a tough guy, but I won't go to New York. And
he has a great line. Wade has a great line. He goes, maybe the calamari was a bit much. Because that's the thing, Michael Imperioli was like, here we like our squid with lemon and pepper. And it's like, oh, a little weird. So we see him then leave, and what?
I'm trying to think of, like, if this was like a post 9/11 commercial, and they were like, Michael Imperioli, like, would he hold up like Middle Eastern food and be like, here we like, I don't know how that would work. Because it's definitely play on that a little bit. Like,
no, because you've dominated the squid by eating it. The scary squid, we eat.
But that's what I'm saying. Is
you would have to would have to eat a Saudi Arabian to make that work.
Yeah. Just Osama bin Laden himself.
Yeah, here we like our Saudi Arabians as on skewers. Like that would have to be the way. But there was no way to actually make that work. Like it's because it's not a 1-to-1, you know.
No.
And so it is kind of interesting. I think I thought about too is that like, well, I guess we'll talk about this when we get there because I'm getting ahead of myself with some of the world stuff that I find very fascinating. We see him go get into his looking glass cave. He drives one car into a garage and then just goes to the next part of the garage, gets his mask, and gets into his other car.
Not exactly stealthy.
No, not super stealthy. And he's wearing the same clothes even. And he drives to work. And we have Lori Blake is giving a talk to the cops, and she's like, okay, you guys have not done shit. You haven't found anything out, but here's the deal. We don't know who they are, but we know where they are. They're in this church. And she shows them a screenshot from the video. And she's like, if we find this church, we may be able to find them. So I need you all to go out and spend the next week going to every fucking church within 50 miles of Tulsa. And that's probably a lot of churches. So you better get going. And it's pretty good detective work, you know what I mean? Like, that's reasonable. It makes a lot of sense. And they go into the bullpen, and we see Red Scare is eating a sandwich, and he asks Looking Glass if he's religious. Like, you're from here, right? Like, are you religious? And he doesn't answer, but he goes, "Where'd you get that fucking lettuce from on that sandwich?" And it turns out he got it from the lettuce that was left behind from the cop shooting way back in episode 1. And so he's eating evidence at the moment.
How good can that lettuce be?
It can't be good, but the show needs to remind you that lettuce is a thing.
Yes.
Because a major plot point will now hinge on lettuce. Yeah. So we definitely need to remind you. You have a character say, the lettuce from the truck driven by the guy who shot so-and-so has to happen. I mean, it may not be the most elegant way to do it, per se, but there's worse ways to do it, I think.
Sure.
This just feels like a funny aside, you know? Sister Night comes over and she's like, "Hey, listen, what did your ex say about the pills?" And he's like, "She hasn't said anything yet." Like, and Sister Night said, "Well, keep fucking asking her." And Lori Blake calls Looking Glass into the office, and we have a whole discussion about taking off his mask. She keeps calling him Mirror Guy. At the end of the conversation, he goes, "I know you know it's Looking Glass." And she goes, "Okay, thanks, Mirror Guy."
She's like, "You can use Mirror Guy if you want." Yeah.
And so she like, "Hey, you were in New York City on 11/2." I actually don't love that they call it 11/2.
Yeah.
Because I think that 9/11 is when we started doing numerical dates, kind of. I'm trying to think, were we doing numerical dates before? We called it Pearl Harbor Day. We didn't call it 12/8.
Yeah, it was Pearl Harbor Day. It was D-Day.
D-Day, VE Day. Yeah, I mean, like, we were not doing, I guess we never had a disaster like that, but like, it feels like Squid Day or something would be what they would have called it in the immediate aftermath, I feel like, but I don't know. 9/11 got called 9/11 because it's 9/11. I mean, that's why it became...
Yeah, if it happened on the 10th, it would not be 9/10.
Yeah, we'd be saying
9/10.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be saying 9/10. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious, though. Does anybody out there know, were we using the 9/11 format for big days or bad days before that? Like, we didn't say, like, 9/23 for Kennedy's assassination, you know? What?
Just thinking of a bit from Nathan Fielder on a podcast where they were talking about Halloween, and they're like, what's Halloween like in Canada? And he goes, "Oh, we call it October 31st Day." It just makes me laugh.
And she's like, "So that has to stick with you, and you still have nightmares?" And he goes, "I sleep great." And she goes, "You know what? I bet that the reflectine that you wear on your mask, which is meant to keep out psychic blasts, help you sleep pretty well, huh?" And I think that he never thought that anybody was noticing that. His response there is sort of like a you caught me kind of a thing. He doesn't have a response.
I think he thinks very few people, like his ex knows, obviously, but
because she knows that he's wearing that shit in his hat. That's the thing.
Yeah. But that she's onto him.
Well, she
put that together, which is not, I suppose, all that hard to put together at the end of the day. But
my guess is that they got divorced before he became a cop. Is my guess. Because he became a cop after White Knight, which is 3 years ago. And so I feel like, because she's like, "Why did you become a cop after White Knight?" And he was like, "Because justice needed to be done." And I feel like that's the kind of thing you do when you've just been recently divorced. Like, you take your whole life and go, "I'm going to become a fucking cop and I'm going to wear a superhero mask." Like, I feel like that's like a post-divorce thing. Like, it doesn't feel like... Then it might have been part of why they got divorced. I don't know. But it does feel to me like he was probably wearing that reflectine long
What do you think he was doing before?
He was probably doing market research.
That's not possible. If White Knight was 3 years ago, and he became a cop after that, and now he's a detective?
He became a detective right away. He didn't work his way up. He got hired as a detective.
But he's got to have specific skills then, right? Like,
yeah,
he's got to have like military skills.
Those skills that he uses for market research is the same skills he uses as a cop. They're the exact same skills.
I don't know enough about becoming a police officer or detective.
I'm sure it's really different when the entire police force quits. I suspect that the entire process is different.
That's true. That's very true.
So you're not working your way up through the ranks. Like, you're being hired for that position because they need a detective, and you are a guy whose whole deal is that you can tell when somebody's lying.
Yeah.
Like, that's very helpful. That's why he's the guy who does the interrogations, because that's his deal. He's the interrogation guy. He's also smart in whatever, so he's just good at that kind of stuff. But the PDPD does not give us any insight into his career path, by the way, this week. As he's going out of the office, she goes, oh, one last thing. She does a Columbo to him. One last thing, she says, what about the pills? And she reveals that she's bugged the cactus on his desk. And she's like, don't take it personally. I'll do the FBI. We fucking bug everything.
We bug everything, yeah.
And he says, it's a personal issue, and I can't tell you because it'd be a violation of her medical privilege for me to tell you about it. And Laurie's like, all right, sure. We see Wade go home, and we get some Wade home stuff. He gets mail. We see that he gets a letter for his ex that mixed in with the mail. And then he takes off his hat, and we see that the hat has Reflectatine inside of it. This hat he wears all the time, his baseball cap. It's Tulsa Tornado, by the way. It's a minor league team that played one season.
There you go.
It's kind of interesting. It's a great logo, though.
It is.
He puts on his mask, and then his robe, and then he gets out his beans with his self-opening can opener, which seems like we could definitely have that, right? That doesn't seem like it's science fiction.
Well, the way it works, I don't think would work.
Why not?
Because he's just got the can on the counter and it's going around it, and I feel like the can would just move with the thing, like, you know.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we could probably do that. I feel like that's a possibility. I don't think it seems too crazy to me.
I don't think it's that crazy, but like it looks like the kind of thing you're supposed to hold the can or something while you're using it.
I mean, probably. Who knows? But he goes and watches TV, eating his beans. He's watching American Hero Story. We have Hood Justice fucking Captain Metropolis. Now, there's something really interesting in here, which is that in this sequence, we have them having sex, and there's a reflection in the solar mirror of Moloch. And now, if you remember, in Watchmen, when the comedian is assaulting Sally, Silk Spectre, we see it in the mirror reflected. It's the same thing here. Now, here's where it gets even more bizarre, is that in the PDpedia, PD sends out another memo to the FBI complaining about American Hero Story and about the episode that aired before this one.
Okay.
And in that episode, they do have the assault. The assault happens in that episode. And he's very upset with how it's portrayed, partially because Laurie Blake is an FBI agent. And so he feels that it's like super disrespectful. And his argument is like, I'm telling you this so that you know how to respond to this with respect. But he has some really interesting complaints about the show.
Ooh, what does he say?
The violence is extreme and fetishistic. The filmmaking toggles between frenetic cuts, widescreen framing, and zooming close-ups on blood gushes and ripped clothing. At various moments, the sexual assault is shown upside down and distorted in the lens of Moloch's solar weapon, one of the Minutemen's many trophies. The ironic Funhouse mirror presentation speaks to J.T. March's, the director's, larger project returning hero archetypes on their heads and deconstructing them as warped personalities. But by prioritizing his flourishes and metaphors over Jupiter's experience, March diminishes her even more. So that's like a critique of Alan Moore.
Yeah.
That's a straight up critique of Alan Moore. Like, that really is. I think that's really interesting. And I don't know 100% like who's writing these things. That I'm sure that Damon Lindelof has to okay them.
Grant Morrison.
There's a thing in this, though, that mentions, like, we find out that Sally Jupiter dies the year before the Oklahoma City bombing, which is when Laurie got captured by the FBI and then forced to become an FBI agent. But before she died, she was doing a bold and brassy autobiographical one-woman show she performed late in life on regional cruise ships and the Ojai Supper Spa circuit. And it's called Baby, This Is Tops. And then PD puts in parentheses, Jupiter Jones, arguably the premier Silk Spectre drag queen in all of DC, performs Baby, This Is Tops in its entirety on the last Thursday of every month at Vargas Girl Review. I recommend it without reservation.
There you go.
You go, PD. You go, PD. He loves the premier Sally Jupiter drag queen. That's such a great detail. I fucking love that so much.
Yeah. I like the idea that he's sending out these memos, these files and memos to everybody at the FBI, and they're like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
He actually addresses that in the beginning of this memo. He's like, many of you were saying Relax is just a TV show. He's like, I'm a historian. so good. While he's watching the show, which establishes that within the world of American Hero Story anyway, even Captain Metropolis has never seen Hooded Justice under the mask. An alarm starts going off, and Wade runs into his bomb shelter and hits there's an alarm system down there, and he hits the red button. The alarm doesn't go off. He tries to reset it, hit it again, still doesn't go off. He runs upstairs. The alarm's in the closet. He tries to turn it off manually. It will not work. He finally ends up beating it down. This is highly metaphorical for his journey throughout this episode. His anxiety and fear is very difficult for him to get rid of. How
many locations does this guy have?
2, his house and the garage.
And the bomb shelter?
That's in his house.
But what I'm saying is we also saw his lab, which did not look like it was part of the bomb shelter from this episode. The bomb shelter seemed much smaller than what his lab was last week.
No, that was all in the bomb. She came downstairs to it, right? Like, that's the bomb shelter.
But what we see here, the bomb shelter is like one room.
No, it's not. It's 2 rooms because he has a bedroom.
Aren't the beds right there where he goes to hit the thing?
Anyway, it's all the same thing. There might be just some confusion in staging, but it's all the same thing. He has 2 locations. His alarm comes from extra-dimensional security. We saw that in the mail. He had an extra-dimensional security catalog show up.
Yeah.
And he's yelling at the guy on the phone, and he's like, shut off doesn't work. And the guy's like, have you done the drill? He's like, I've been doing drill processes on this, and it always works. I've done over 1,000 drills. And the guy's like, you're only supposed to do them once every 6 weeks, because I'll do them as often as I see fit.
He says the manual says you should only do them once every 6 weeks, and he says, I don't give 2 brown turds about the manual, which is a great line. 2 brown turds.
He ends up going to sleep down there, and he puts on his mask and looks at the bunk beds that are empty, and obviously is thinking about his sad and lonely life. The next day, he's back there focus grouping again. This is the Happy-O's, right? This is the Happy-O's.
Yes.
Where the kid's like, it tastes like nothing, and the guy's like, it must taste like something. Everything tastes like something. And he gets a text from his ex, Cynthia. And so he goes to see her at work. She works at Forever Pet, which is a pet cloning facility. And he has brought her mail. And she's like, and this is so real, man. She's like, I've changed my address with the post office 3 different times, and they still keep sending the mail over there.
Since I moved into this apartment, once every 2 to 3 months, I get mail for somebody else, for the person who lived here before. And it's clearly like important mail. And every time I take it to the post office and say, this showed up, this person does not live here. And they're like, oh, we'll fill out the form. And I still get their mail.
I've been here for 7 years, and I still get mail for the previous tenants.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
You take it to the post office and say, this person doesn't live here?
No, it is almost invariably junk mail.
Okay. This is like stuff from like Social Security offices. So I'm like, this person needs this. Like, I don't know where they are, but they probably want it. We see her working on this dog, and she's like, does this dog look exactly like the other dogs? And he's like, well, it's a little bit smaller. And then she proceeds to incinerate it alive. Yeah.
Very casually incinerate it alive. Yeah. Really horrific. Like, honestly, like, upsetting to me.
Really upsetting. Yeah. Really upsetting.
And she's like, hey, she's like, I know Judd died. Are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I need to know about the pills. And she says, hey, those are actually nostalgia, and they're outlawed because the nostalgia is memories in pills, and that taking that turns out makes you psychotic. And she's like, did you get it from a lady? And he's like, I never said that. And she goes, I know, but you keep getting fucked up with women who abuse you. And he's like, I got messed up with you. And she's like, I spent 7 years trying to convince you I wasn't going to run off with your clothes. So that obviously was a deeply fundamental traumatic experience for him.
And he said, well, yeah, because this woman took his clothes and then everyone died. Yeah, I can see the trauma there. But he does say it was 7 years.
I would have felt great about it.
Really?
I'm like, fuck you. Look what happens. Look what happens when you cross me. Everybody fucking dies. Everybody dies.
I would not.
I would feel powerful.
The first time I'm trying to get some action, and this happens.
I would feel I would feel so powerful. Somebody fucked with me, and then they immediately had their brains melted. Oh yeah, that's. No. I would be like, you know what? Somehow I did this. I know I somehow did this. I got my vengeance. There's PDPD also has this week a nostalgia ad, like a newspaper ad from 2007. Lady True invented nostalgia. It comes from True Pharmaceuticals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nostalgia was the name of a vape
of a perfume, right?
Perfume, but now that perfume's called Mercy.
It's weird that they changed those.
Yeah, but I think that he was already. Maybe she hadn't already bought it yet. I don't know when she bought it. I guess he's only been gone since 2014 or something like that, right?
Yeah, because the last cake we saw was 4 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A previous PDpedia
also, when did? Never mind, because it's stuff we don't know about yet.
A previous PDpedia did mention that he had basically withdrawn and was just living in Karnak, and was just like not being involved in the business anymore. Like that had been in a previous PDpedia. Anyway, he goes to a church, and turns out he is running an extra-dimensional anxiety support group. They got a really cute flyer with a little kitten looking out the window. EDA and U. They also, by the way, the PDpedia also has that flyer in it this week, and it's being put out by Veidt Extra Dimensional Institute. They're the ones that put it out, and they talk about how extra dimensional anxiety and extreme cephalopod reaction or something like that is actually, on some cases it's going away, but on some cases it's getting worse because of the squid falls. So even people who are not in New York, apparently that psychic blast kind of lapped the planet potentially, like it went pretty far. But even people who are not in New York, because they keep getting hit with fucking squid falling out of the sky, they definitely have developing issues. And sure. Russia and China get the most squid. And squid fall on average 25 times a year.
Wow.
Yeah, so
it's a lot.
It's a lot. So we have the meeting. A new woman comes in, and we see that Wade is definitely interested in doing something you do not do. He's very deeply interested in 13th stepping her. And 13th stepping is what you call it in a recovery program. In a 12, this is probably not a 12-step recovery program, but in a 12-step recovery program, when a newcomer comes in and people try to have sex with them, that's called 13th stepping. And it's deeply looked down upon within recovery, because these are usually very vulnerable people that are new. And so but nobody tried to 13th step me. So I don't know. Am I just not that handsome? Anyway, he's definitely got that on his mind, though. And as somebody in recovery, I was like, wait, no, you don't do this. Don't do this, buddy. He gives a whole speech, because there's a guy who's there who, his mom was in Brooklyn when the squid hit, and he wasn't even born yet, but he feels like he has epigenetic trauma from her. Yeah. And he probably just has trauma from her being totally fucked up. Like, that probably is just enough trauma, is my guess. Like, I don't. Well,
I mean, also, if there was a psychic blast, who knows? I
mean, epigenetic stuff is potentially very real. I don't think we've fully studied it, but it feels like it's actually pretty real that you might have DNA may in fact be impacted in that way. I'm not 100% convinced that you can, in this case, separate that from her being raised by a woman who was driven insane by the squid. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't separate it. It's different when you're like, oh, my great-great-grandfather almost drowned, and now everybody in my family ever since then has had a fear of water. I don't know, but anyway, that's not what epigenetic trauma is. But anyway, Wade gives this whole speech where he's like,
Well, before that, this guy also talks about how, he's like, we've normalized that squid drop out of the sky and we just pull over and turn on our wipers.
No, he doesn't say that.
Oh, it's somebody else says that?
Okay. That's later on at the bar.
Okay.
Try not to correct me.
I didn't think I was correcting. I thought you were just moving past it a moment.
No, I was not. That happens at the bar. He has this whole thing about how he's never going to end. He's never going to get better. And Wade gives this whole speech about they're in a tunnel and every tunnel has light at the end of it. And he also does a thing that people try to do in self-help stuff, which is he tries to put a positive spin on it. And he's like, those who were there will remember that right before the squid came, it looked like the world was going to end. And this squid showed up, and it was horrible, but it did bring peace on Earth. Like, it did fix things, or like stop at least the destruction of civilization. And so he's like, it was not all bad, which is, again, a very common self-help kind of a thing, trying to see the thing as positive. But we know he doesn't really believe it. And
he's got tinfoil in his hat.
He got tinfoil in his hat. And later on, outside the meeting, the newcomer who's smoking doesn't believe it. Now, it's probably hard for people who are not Watchmen people to know this, but nobody smokes cigarettes in Watchmen. Tobacco's illegal. So this is telling us something about her.
Is that?
Yeah.
But no, there's the long cigarette holder stuff.
Those are not cigarettes.
Oh, they're not? What are they?
No, they're whatever they are. They're like vapes or something, or whatever they are, but they're not cigarettes. And so they're like what replaces cigarettes. And so the fact that she's smoking a cigarette is a very telling thing. You know what I mean? Like we're learning something about her with that. But if you're not a Watchmen person, you don't know that. Yeah. She's out smoking a cigarette in the parking lot, and he's like says goodnight, and she's like, I don't believe you. I don't believe what you had to say about the tunnel. I know that you're just as fucked up as we are. And I like this a lot because she's obviously trouble, and she's like, follow me, and he's like, all right. And it's like, oh my man, like what are you doing? Like you gotta break this pattern. You gotta break your pattern. So he follows her to a bar, and they're at the bar, and he's telling her about his day job as a focus group guy. And he tells her that his deal is like, I can tell when somebody's lying. So she obviously goes and lies to him about what she does. And he guesses the first 2 times she lies, and he immediately knows. And the third time she says radiologist, and he's like, okay, that's true. And then she starts talking about, he then is like, asks her about like, how fucked up are you basically? And then she's like, did you just bring me here to get my squid story? And he's like, yeah, pretty much. And this is when she starts talking about the squid falls and how everybody acts like it's normal, but it's fucking aliens are falling out of the sky. Like nobody, like how is nobody? And then she starts talking about pale horse.
But before that, what I want to talk about with the squid fall, we're seeing that now with the pandemic, where everyone just like moved on, acts like nothing really happens. But there's still quite a bit of lasting trauma from it that is affecting the world. And once again, the show is a little ahead of schedule.
I also think it's interesting. I'm going to probably get yelled at for this, and I'm aware of it, but I'm not trying to put anybody down. But there is a certain group of like highly COVID conscious people who are like, they like to go on social media and get very upset when you still are posting pictures without a mask on and stuff like that. Like, like there's, and that really speaks to this support group. Like there's like an anxiety level that is maybe harming people's ability to like be a person, you know what I mean? Yeah. And because it is interesting to sort of see these people show up on social media every now and again, somebody will be like, oh great, so you're out at the bar with no mask on, but as a disabled person, you just don't care if I die. And it's like, that's a huge leap. That's like a very big leap.
Am I coming to your house right now?
It's very interesting. And obviously like with that stuff, it's tied into the scold nature of social media, that there is like a built-in scolding thing that really just like works on social media.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting. And I keep thinking, I mean, I've always thought this, that it's just a way of making gossip feel righteous.
Yes.
Like, you're bad because you do this thing. And once upon a time, somebody would be like, that person's bad because they're at the bar. And now it's like, they're at the bar without a mask.
It's Auntie Griselda. There you go.
Griselda?
The monkey song, Auntie Griselda?
Man, your references are truly
so righteous, judging others over her tea.
Truly.
It's a great song. It's a great song.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not putting the song down. I'm curious if there was a single person listening to this who was, oh my God, Auntie Griselda, of course. I know exactly what Derek's talking about. I'm always like, every now and again, I'm like, what if I just let this one go? What if I just let this one go? And like, I just not even going to acknowledge that I don't have a fucking clue what he's talking about. But I love that about you. That's the great thing about the show, is that you have these references that are just like so specific.
No one else is going to come up with that.
No one else is.
That song, I sing that song to myself quite often.
It just
not as often lately as but
Listen to the Bad Batch for the story behind that one.
Yeah.
But there's like, I'm always like, there's no other podcast that will always draw comparisons to Community as much as this one, including Community podcasts.
I was going to say, I'm sure there's Community podcasts that get close.
I mean, but our podcasts have more Community references per pound than I think almost anybody else.
I feel safe in saying that we have more, I don't know about Community references, but definitely more Quantum Leap references.
Yeah.
Than any other podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the
ones I've done that nobody seems to have even realized. Like there are things I've said that are straight from Quantum Leap episodes. So they're out there.
Yeah, but you're the kind of, I feel like you might be the kind of guy who's like, you say good morning and you go, that's exactly what Sam says in season 5, episode 6.
No. These are very specific lines.
Renee is telling Wade about her experience seeing Pale Horse, Steven Spielberg's Oscar-winning motion picture.
1992.
Yes.
Black and white.
With a girl in a red coat.
Yeah. So instead of Schindler's List, which Spielberg in reality was working on for decades trying to get that movie made, he took all of his ideas for Schindler's List and put them into Pale Horse.
I mean, maybe it felt like a really important story to tell. You know what I mean? It does feel like 7 years after is pretty soon. But you know what?
They were making 9/11 movies like 2 years later.
Were they?
Yeah.
Which ones?
What's the one? Isn't there one with Nicolas Cage? Where he's like a firefighter?
Is that 2 years later?
I think so.
Well, now we have to look this up. See, this is how this show gets consistently.
No, okay. If this is the same one. No,
2006. That was 5 years later.
Okay.
And there's documentaries.
There's definitely documentaries, but I'm not talking about documentaries.
No, World Trade Center is 2006. The Oliver Stone movie. So I guess, but like also World Trade Center is bad. And I think at the time, I think a lot of people felt like, oh, that feels in bad taste.
Yeah. United 93 was also 2006.
2006. That's actually a really good movie. I'll never see it again.
That's a great movie.
If you buy the United 93 script book, you'll find my interview with Paul Greengrass is in the beginning of the book.
Yes.
Because I went to the set of that picture, by which I mean I went to Newark Airport. That's where I met him, was at Newark Airport, which is where 93 took off.
That same year is a movie called Flight 93.
Is it like a TV movie or something, though?
Yeah, it's from A&E.
Yeah.
It's like the Asylum version.
There is Reign Over Me, 2007, with your boy, Don Cheadle.
Yes.
Adam Sandler is, I think, fucked up by 9/11. Is that what it's about? I don't remember. I've actually never seen it. Yeah, he's fucked up by 9/11.
Here you go. The Guys, 2002. The story of a fire captain who lost 8 men in the collapse of the World Trade Center and the editor who helps him prepare for the eulogy. Stars Sigourney Weaver, Anthony LaPaglia, Jim Simpson, rather, who also directed it. 2002. This was a year after.
So this is based on a play that debuted in December of 2001.
Wow, somebody like saw their shot.
Bill Murray was in it.
In the play?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
They saw their shot and they were like, I'm taking it.
No, I think that this is like an actual attempt to make a work of art about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's... And the film, by the way, is a filmed version of the play. It's not a movie. It's just they put cameras at the play.
Okay.
So it's not quite... And it probably did not play in any kind of theaters, if I had to imagine.
The writer and director of the film, he's only directed one other thing, which is an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
There you go.
So he directed one episode they do. He did...
We don't need
Mute Witness to Murder.
Yeah, great. Good. Glad you'd spend time on it.
Look, we're going across the Omniverse to find out this information. You want to open up to new things.
Yeah. So she's watched Pale Horse 1,000 times. At least she stopped counting at 1,000 times. And that scene with the little girl in red looking for her mother walking underneath the tentacles in Herald Square, that really fucked her up. It fucked her up for life. And she can't believe how much everybody's acting like nothing's going on. She says the only times that I'm not thinking about this is when I am watching this movie and when I'm fucking. And he goes, what? And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm drunk. I better get out of here." She says, "I'll drive you home." She goes, "No, I have a friend who'll come get me."
Do you think in the writer's room, when they were figuring out when Spielberg made the movie, there was a discussion of should it be when he made Schindler's List or should it be when he made War of the Worlds, which is his 9/11 movie?
Yeah, but War of the Worlds is not that long after 9/11 too. So I think that's part of the reasoning here is that he made a 9/11 movie. It's just a science fiction movie that's not really about 9/11, but it is about 9/11. Yeah. And it was not that long after. That's one of the reasons I think it didn't do well, is because I think it's too 9/11 coded, and I think
and it has him. Tom Cruise is like, "I'll be a suicide bomber."
He's a suicide bomber. Incredible choice, Tom Cruise to be a suicide bomber. I mean, you got to fucking. I mean, I love that movie, by the way. So
it's great.
Very important.
It's a great movie.
Very important to note that I love that movie. And I think, again, people complain about the kid being alive at the end, but I honestly do believe that, especially at that moment in time, that
needed it.
Felt like it needed it. I mean, even at the time when it came out, people were complaining about it, so don't get me wrong. But anyway, they're outside. She's smoking a cigarette again. He goes, "Well, that smells real good. You want one?" He's like, "No, you know, I can't. I'm a cop, but that smells real good." And her friend shows up, and she gets into the truck, and it drives off. And he's looking, and as it drives off, a head of lettuce falls out of it, and he's like, "Fuck," because he knows exactly what this means. So he goes to his car, gets on the walkie, and says, "Did we ever find that truck from the shooter, the 7th Cavalry shooter?" They go, "Did not." He goes, "Okay, I'm gonna go after this truck." And he follows them to an abandoned department store. And he watches them come out with Rorschach masks on as they get out of the truck. He calls in again to the cops, to dispatch, and says, "Hey, I'm at the abandoned department store. Send me back up." And he begins to go sneak inside. First, he stops at the truck, and he finds a gun, and he grabs that gun. So he then goes inside to the department store, and it's like this empty mall, and he discovers a church TV show set. The video they shared was shot on a set. It's totally fake. There is no such church as this.
That's pretty awesome.
And as he's looking at it, a basketball drops out of the sky, and a guy comes down like, "Hey, it's over here by the church." And Wade hides, and the guy's like, "It's at 22 degrees south," or whatever, and follows this guy back up and sees that there's a bunch of 7th Cavalry guys standing around a portal mechanism. And he is like, "Holy shit."
They're tossing basketballs into it.
I like that the basketballs go in, they kind of hang for a second, and then they go through. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
He comes out, he's got his gun, he cocks the revolver, and he's like, "Hey, everybody freeze. I'm with the police. Get down on the floor." And then Renee, the woman from the bar, is like, "Hey, Wade, I'm glad you made it." And he's like yelling, like, "Get everybody on the ground." And they keep yelling, and he's like, "Are they opening portals?" And she's like, yeah, we are. He's like, "Turn it off." And so he's like, "Turn it off." And she's like, "Hey, listen, man, like, we went through a lot of trouble to get you here. Like, we even rigged that truck to have the lettuce fall off of it, like, to make sure that you found it. So just hear us out, will you?" And a guy comes up behind him, and Wade hears him coming. He turns around and he opens fire on the guy, but the guy just stands there. Turns out the gun has blanks in it. She's like, "We put blanks in the gun just in case. We didn't know, you know? And also, when you called into dispatch, we actually intercepted your signal, so nobody's coming. You're talking to us the whole time." And he gets dragged away into a room full of TV screens. It's like the Adrian Veidt room in Karnak, where he watches all the different news stuff.
Yes.
Obviously, I mean, clearly a reference, like not even remotely. Renee gives Wade his hat back, sees that it's lined with Reflectatine. And she takes off the mask and says, "I actually am a radiologist." And she leaves. And some guy comes in with a Rorschach mask. He goes, "So did you make your mask out of Reflectatine?" And Wade's like, "Are you even trying to hide your voice, Senator?" And it's Joaquin.
Yep.
And he goes, "Oh, shit, I forgot I had this mask on. Sorry about this. It's very rude." And he starts talking. Basically, he says, "Listen, I came down here to Tulsa, and I took over these guys because they're a bunch of Yahoo rednecks, and I needed to stop them from killing cops. And Judd took over the police department to do the same thing. We created like a tense peace between these two groups. And and as they're talking, basketballs keep falling out of the sky, out of the ceiling. And so Wade's like, "Are you building a fucking portal? Like, that's the same one they used in Herald Square at the Institute for Interdimensional Studies that brought the squid. You're going to drop a squid on Tulsa?" And Senator Kane's like, "Oh my God, that would be so unimaginative." Which I love. Like, I love that. Yeah. Like, it's a meta reference. You know what I mean? Like, it's like letting us know, like, no, we're not doing the same thing again.
We're not going to do that again. Yeah.
He's like, you know, we're not going to do that all over again. But I do want to show you something that when I got sworn in, I was sworn in as a member of the Appropriations Committee. I really wanted something sexier, but, you know, you take what you get. And when I got sworn in, they showed me a video. And I want to show this video to you. It took me a bunch of years to get a pirated copy. I think it's going to set you free from your fears. And he leaves with gives Wade the remote. And Wade starts the video. And it's Adrian Veidt talking to newly sworn in President Redford. And it's 1995 that he's talking to Redford, but he's in 1985, or maybe it's 1992 that he's being sworn in. Anyway, the point is, Adrian is like, I bet you wonder why I'm in 1985, why I know you're being sworn in right now. And it's because I made it happen. Now, I want to say here about this is what I want to mention about a younger Adrian. This is Adrian like in his 50s, like in Watchmen, like 40s, 50s, right? The thing is that Jeremy Irons has these big-ass dentures that's like fucking up his voice. And so he has the denture voice here. And like, I don't love the denture voice in general, but like in this bit, it feels weird because maybe Adrian has dentures. Sure, it happens. But the idea that he has dentures during the events of Watchmen, I can't go back and read this book and think of him with denture voice.
I did a 35 minutes ago.
Yeah. He's like, oh shit, my polydent gave out. Like, nothing against dentures. It's just like there's like it's always so funny when somebody's like rich and famous.
I'm going to end up with them sooner or later.
Yeah, me too. I have terrible teeth. When somebody is rich and famous and they don't have good dentures.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to me. You would think that somebody would have the money to get good dentures.
I mean, I guess, I don't know. Is it difficult? I have no idea.
I don't know, but I've seen some people have dentures and like you can tell the teeth are fake necessarily, but they don't have the denture voice.
Yeah.
The denture voice is what is the thing. It'd be funny if we're still doing this podcast and you know I both have dentures and we're doing the fucking denture voice. Oh my god.
Yeah, and talking about how other like actors have bad dentures.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting away with it though.
The denture cast.
Cross the dentures. Yeah. What I'm amazed by in this scene is that as he says at the end of this scene, Adrian says on the video, here's 4 hours where I'm going to explain everything. So he's taping this on SLP, which is impressive. But I mean, Adrian essentially makes a crazy fan video for Robert Redford. Because he even says like it's all part of my plan. You're president because of my plan. All this works, and I chose you because I know you're a good and kind man who will understand why I did what I did. He doesn't know Robert Redford.
He might.
No, the way it plays like he's just a big fan of Robert Redford.
I feel like there's no reason that they wouldn't have met at some party.
I'm not saying there's no reason they wouldn't have met, but it feels like he's just a big fan of Robert Redford.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the case. I mean, I think
that's what they're going for, is the idea that he's making like one of those like creepy stalker fan videos. Like,
I don't think that's not what they're going for.
That's the feeling I got from it.
No, what they're going, because if in this version of Watchmen, they have retconned the headline from 1985 as "Will RR run for president," which we at 85 thought meant Ronald Reagan. They've retconned it to mean Robert Redford. So Redford was obviously a guy who's like was interested in politics, and he is in the real world too, but was like more interested in politics in this reality. Yeah. So I think that he had been a perennial guy that like was thinking about running, like was dipping his toe in. That's my guess, because I don't think we're meant to think that he's a. That's just.
Or is Adrian the one putting out those rumors early on because it's part of his plan?
I mean, it might be, but I think also you have a very interesting negative thing about Adrian, where you're interested in.
I mean, he's a maniacal madman. Like
he did save the world.
The thing is that he's. I mean, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Maybe.
I mean, it gave him 30 more years at least, which is not bad, honestly.
Maybe we don't know.
Yeah, I mean...
A big part of what happens is because he makes the world afraid of Dr. Manhattan. That nuclear war would not have been on the brink of happening if Dr. Manhattan was still around, because everyone was like, Dr. Manhattan will just get rid of the nukes.
Yeah, but part of the point of that, though, is that he doesn't want humanity living with Dr. Manhattan as the deciding thing. Like, that's the part of it. He wants humanity back to humanity. I mean, that's also heroic in its own way, right? He wants humanity to have the chance to make its own decisions, not have to be like under the thumb of an uncaring God. And he also knows, it seems to me, that he knows that Manhattan's going to go anyway, that eventually Manhattan's going to go. That like he has been watching John become more and more distant over time. Yes. And I think that he has figured out that the arc of John's character is going to lead to him just fucking off because he's going to be bored here because he's got nothing else that's keeping him interested. And so...
But then the sane answer would be, I have to work as the smartest man in the world. I need to work on a way to convince the countries to stop all this stuff.
So here's
before he leaves. Not like, oh, I'll make everyone afraid of Dr. Manhattan, then drop a giant, psychic squid on Manhattan.
So the problem here is that I think anybody who studies history knows that that will never work. There's no version of humanity where you can convince everybody to work together. The argument here is that humanity will never work together. You have to create a bigger enemy. This is actually a thing that Alan Moore stole from The Outer Limits. And so it's an episode called Architects of Fear. And so I think that I don't think it's a crazy perspective. Like, I think that, like, obviously what Adrian does is, like, horrible, but the book has this question built into it, which is like, what is the price of making a better world? Like, what price are you willing to pay? And Adrian is the guy willing to pay this horrifying price, or make us buy this horrifying price.
He pays nothing.
But I think it's really interesting that, like, in the show especially, that obviously the comic just ends, but in the show Adrian doesn't like make himself the important guy. I think it's a very interesting...
Yes, he does. That's this whole tape.
No, I'm saying he does behind the scenes, but he doesn't do it like in like, he doesn't step up and be like, I'm Adrian, the world has been disrupted, let me step up here and become your fearless leader. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's a behind the scenes guy. That's what he wants to do. He wants to do behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. And so I think Watchmen is more interesting if we are left with the question of, is this an not okay, but like, did this bad thing? It's the question of the atomic bomb, right? Like, it's like one of those things, like, is there a situation where this horror is the only solution? And I do believe that the comics do make it seem like World War III is pretty inevitable. And I also, like I said, believe that I believe the same thing Adrian believes, is that John was always going to leave Earth. Maybe this sped it up or whatever with the cancer stuff, but like, I think he was always going to leave Earth. There was never a question, so he needed to just be ahead of that. And I don't think that he could go out to the UN like one day when Dr. Manhattan leaves Earth, like, because the thing is that we see the world now, man. Like, you can't get fucking people together on the most simple shit. Like, you just cannot. And we see that also, that the world is devolving back into the state that it was during the Cold War. And that we are once again in very bad situations politically in Europe. We might be on the verge of World War III still. Like, it's like crazy. And so I think that actually lends a little bit of credence to it. Now, obviously, the other character is Rorschach, whose thing is, this is so horrible, and I will make sure that you burn for this, even though you got it done, and thus leaves his journal out for the New Frontiersmen, right? So I don't know that the comic... I know that Alan Moore thinks it's horrible, and it is horrible, but I also think that there's like a sense that what makes the comic interesting is the philosophical question at the heart of it.
But here, maybe, but to me, the thing with it is Adrian is doing the exact thing that he's saying he's trying to stop. Because his whole, like, what you're saying before, where, like, as I said, like, there's not going to be nuclear war because Dr. Manhattan's there. And Adrian's thing is, like, there should not be one God figure that we all fear to stop us from going to war. He just creates a different God figure for everyone to fear.
He creates an enemy, and that's different than a God figure.
He creates an extra-dimensional giant squid that destroys New York, and he takes it upon himself to create the fear of something bigger out there that can hurt us.
But this is not something. But that's different than a God figure. That's different.
I don't think.
No, it's fundamentally different, because a God figure like Dr. Manhattan is a benevolent being that you go, okay, we can just trust this guy to do the right thing. The squid brings, and also humanity doesn't do well in that situation in general. The squid brings everybody together in a common cause, and so we have to all come together as people because now there's something really horrible out there. And as humans, we feel now connected because we have the outsider. And so it's creating an outsider. Ronald Reagan actually talked about this. He gave a speech where he talked about like, if aliens showed up, would the USSR and USA become friends? Like it's a concept that people have always had.
And for a very long time, yes.
Yeah. So I think that my cynical take on human society is that is the only way to bring people together. It's a common problem. And even the common problem doesn't always work, by the way, because we have fucking climate change, which is going to fuck things up, and we cannot get everybody on the same page about that. So, the squid is more... That's, I think, a good example, by the way, of why you need something very extreme, because if climate change isn't going to do it, and we're seeing climate change happen around us, you kind of need the fucking alien. Like, people are too awful. Like, they're too set in their ways. They're too interested in making money. You kind of need to punch people. It's like when somebody's, like, losing their mind, you got to slap them in the face, you know? It's, like, kind of that thing. Again, I'm not saying it's right. I think that the question is what's really interesting. And I also don't think that I think what Adrian... We don't see the contents of the video, but my take on it is that Adrian is telling Redford, here's why I keep sending squid falls. Like this.
Well, he says in the video why he does.
But I think that's like part of like that whole four. I don't think he's telling Redford like you better do what I say. I don't think this is like him saying like I control. This isn't like that Bill Hicks joke, like where you get sworn in as president, they bring you into a room with a different angle on it. Yeah, I don't think it's that. I don't think that's what this is.
No. I mean, he says in this thing, he's like, "This is my plan, and we can do this together."
Right.
Again, which again is very much to me a creepy stalker fan thing, where he's like, "This is how we're gonna."
I
do
think
things
that you're
together.
really
We're
reading
best friends.
hard into that. I think you're reading really.
That's the
hard
feeling I
into
got
that.
from it.
No, I don't think there's any piece of that. But you just really dislike Adrian like deeply. Is the thing. That's the whole thing.
He's a horrific character.
He's an interesting character.
No, I mean, yes, he's interesting, but he's a horrific character.
He's an interesting character. I don't know
He's
that
a
I would
horrific
go.
character.
The thing is, I think
any one person who sits there and says only I can save the world is a horrific character.
Yeah, I know, but I also think that he's doing it. I think he would be horrific if there was a personal thing to it, like where it's like I want to rule the world or whatever. But I honestly think that Adrian has the best intentions. I honestly think that he believes that he's totally right and this is the only way.
Yes,
and because he's the world's smartest man, I know, but I think that makes him not horrific. Horrific would have malevolence behind it. I don't think he has malevolence. I don't think that he did not do the squid thing to do things for him. You know what I mean? Like, that's just me. I just think that that's what makes him an interesting character. I think that what makes Watchmen really interesting is the levels of moral gray that the entire thing operates within. Like, I think that there is no specific, any character you can say this person's bad, this person also has things that, like Rorschach is a sociopath, but he's right also about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's a monster.
And that's really interesting. And then I think it's a way.
I don't think there's anything.
Jenny?
Right? What's her name? Silk Spectre 2.
Lori,
rather. There's nothing horrific about her.
I mean, nothing horrific. She doesn't have the space to do horrific things, but, like, she has her own shit. Like, you know, when her and Dan are laughing about the guy they used to beat up, it turned out he had a fetish for it, and then how Rorschach just dropped down an elevator shaft. I mean, there's, like, darkness. Like, she does very violent things. She's taking... she's a version of Adrian. They're all versions of Adrian. I am the person who needs to go out into the city and bring order and justice. They're all... It's all levels of it. And so Adrian is the most extreme worldwide version. And John is the beyond it all, where he won't bring order. He's just interested in seeing it. And so the question is, what's worse? The guy who wants to bring order and will do whatever it takes, or the guy who wants to just see how it goes and just examine it and has no connection to it? Adrian cares about people. John doesn't. And I think that's a really interesting, because Adrian.
But John does. That's the thing. Is in the book, it's clear that John does care about people.
No, I don't think he does.
John giving people cancer would not affect him if he did not care.
I think that John has remnants of human emotion and stuff like that, and I think that the people that there are persons that he cares about. I do not think he cares about people.
No, yeah,
he doesn't care about saving the world. Adrian's whole thing is I want to save the world, and John is like, well, whatever you guys do, I don't give a shit.
Well, John's thing is there is a course to to time, and this is going to happen, or it's not going to happen.
Right, but he's very detached.
It's not our place to stop it.
Yeah, he's very detached, though, and that's the thing. That's the other piece of the interesting moral gray, is that you let things happen as they're supposed to happen, or do you step in and do whatever it takes to fix things? And it's, again, I don't think there's an answer. Like, I think we can make arguments for both. I think one of our best arguments that we ever had on this program was years ago. Was about Watchmen, and it was about how John sees time. And I think you got very irritated with me.
I'm sure I did. I don't doubt that.
Anyway, so Wade sees this, and it is it's a punch in the gut, because, man, this guy's entire life has been really formed by the fact that he believes that there's going to be another squid that pops down at any fucking time. And now he discovers that it's all fake. We also talked about the idea that didn't people know it's all fake? I think that the thing that's important is that it's in the Rorschach journal. And I think that for a lot of people, it's like, give me a fucking break. This guy's a lunatic, you know? Yeah. But, what's funny is that it's like QAnon. Like, we're like, oh, give me a break. This shit is crazy. And then you're like, oh, actually, no, there actually is like a weird group of elite people that do indeed prey on children. It's not what they thought, but it is actually happening. And then the QAnon people are like, yeah, well, whatever. I don't really care about that, actually.
I saw something the other day was really good. It was like, everything Alex Jones said was going to happen has happened, and he's just not interested in it anymore.
He doesn't care. He no longer cares. Yeah. So we then cut to Adrian, and he's in the spacesuit, and he's got Phillips and Crookshanks loading him in the trebuchet. They shoot him into the sky, and he passes through the barrier, and he's on Europa, one of the moons of Jupiter. And I like this bit, like where he comes in and gravity changes, and then like that landing. I think it captures like the wonder that he experiences of like, holy shit, like I am out here.
Oh yeah. I mean, the close up on his face as he like escapes the fake reality world, whatever it is, and ends up in space, and like how he goes from like fear because he's flying through the air and like he doesn't know what's gonna happen, to shock that he's there, to being like, oh my gosh, I did it, like, is really good. And it's all just in one shot. It's really
good. There's a bit here, I don't know if it's this bit or it's, I think it's when the satellite comes, where he goes like, I did it. And that's exactly what he does when the squid shows up. And then he's watching TV and he sees that everybody's pulling apart their, they're standing down their forces. Europa is an interesting choice for a place for him to be. Europa is where they are going in 2001: A Space Odyssey. And it's
a U2 song or album?
And in the novel...
I'm asking honestly, isn't it?
Zooropa.
Oh, Zooropa. I honestly thought that they had like a song called Europa.
In the sequel, 2010 Odyssey 2, Arthur C. Clarke has the aliens say to the humans, all these worlds are yours except Europa. Attempt no landing there. Use them together. Use them in peace. And so that's become like a very, like, all these worlds are yours has become like a big quote, but it's very specifically about Europa. And I think it's kind of interesting that's where they put Adrian, is on Europa. That feels like a real... Europa also might be a moon that might be habitable, hospitable to life. Like, it's plausible. So it's, it's a lot of interesting stuff. Because there was, I think at the time when he wrote that book, they thought there might be an ocean on Europa. We still think there might be like interesting stuff going on there. Anyway, he goes out there and there's all these dead Crookshanks and Phillipses. Yep. And he starts taking their bodies. The low gravity allows him to just pick them up like nothing. And he starts using them, breaking them apart to spell out, save me, D. He's speaking to you particularly. Save me, Derek.
And unfortunately, I'm not going to, because I don't like him. I think he's a bad person.
And, I mean, he is a bad person, but that, I think most of these characters are on some level bad people. He says this is a callback to Tales of the Black Freighter, because that guy builds a raft out of corpses, and so that's definitely what they're kind of like winking to. Again, this is
how he built a raft, and he's like, and now I will just shoot myself off towards Earth.
I think what's really interesting is that he has the rope attached to him, but like I think that if he had just been trebucheted out of that zone, I think he might have just like flown into Jupiter.
Yeah, he would have just taken off.
Yeah, I think it was taken off, I think. But anyway, but this is a good example of how this show does homages and callbacks in a way that's brilliant and does not require knowledge of the original and does not feel like the show is stopping and saying, remember when that guy made a raft out of dead bodies? Like, it's just like, this is his raft. And he's put these bodies together.
And also, there's a reality where in the show, if it's done badly, he makes a smiley face.
Yes.
Out of the bodies.
He might still. I can't remember if we see the whole thing. When we do see the whole thing. And there's a satellite that comes, and he knew the satellite was coming, and it was timed to make this happen for when the satellite comes. And just as the satellite comes and snaps a photo, he gets yanked back into the zone, and he is suffocating inside of his suit. But the game warden is there and is like, you son of a bitch, I told you not to defy the law of the land. Draws a sword, is like, this is enough. It seems like he just sticks a sword into his neck, but he actually sticks it into the seal of the helmet to get the helmet off of him. And he says, you're under arrest, and may God have mercy on your soul. And he also, Adrian is like, what God? Like, your God has abandoned you. And he kicks Adrian in the face, and he's like, well, actually got a point. Our God has, in fact, abandoned us, and will never return.
Yeah. And then he kicks him again.
Yeah. We then cut down to Earth. Wade is watching another test thing. It's for Mercy, this perfume. And he's thinking about 11-2 and stuff like that. And he goes back to the station. And Sister Night is there. She calls him on the phone from across the room. It's like, hey, what about the pills? And he's like, is anything true? And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? And she walks over and says, anything true? And he goes, here are the pills. They are nostalgia, but like, whose memories are they? And it's like, I want to help, but you got to clue me in. And he had been told by Joe Keane, I need you to, one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to go back and you're going to point Laurie Blake towards Angela Abar because Laurie Blake thinks Angela Abar killed Judd.
Yeah.
Or we're going to send some people to Angela Abar's house and kill her whole family. I need her gone. Like, for what's happening in the next couple of days, I need her away. And so Wade has been thinking about it. And his decision here is obviously to help set her up. And so he's like, what happened? And she says, like, my grandfather was at the tree. They blow my grandfather. He was at the tree. My grandfather claimed that he killed Judd, but he's 100 years old. There's just no way. So I covered it up. And then he goes, I'm sorry. And at that moment, Laurie comes out with her gun drawn, and they calls to arrest her. She's like, how should you do this to me? He's like, I had to. She swallows all of the pills.
Very bad.
And they drag her away. Wade gets home that night, and he doesn't take his hat inside. He leaves it in the car. But there is his new alarm that he had overnighted to himself at his door, and he picks it up and he throws it in the garbage. And then he comes back and he gets it. And I like that. That really feels very real. It's like he's not quite ready to let go of it.
Yeah.
He goes inside. He closes his door. A van pulls up. A bunch of 7th Cavalry guys get out, walk up to his house, cock their guns. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this one?
It's great. It's a great show. It's a great episode. There is a weird bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were doing this because they didn't trust the audience, or if they're doing this because they wanted to create some energy. But every now and then, like, it'll just cut to flashback stuff of things earlier in the episode, like his hat. Like, when his wife is like, you still putting the foil in the hat, and then it cuts.
No, she doesn't say that. She goes, no, she says, oh, the hat's back, I see.
Oh, the hat's back, yeah, and it cuts to like a shot of the hat.
I think they're afraid that the audience has no idea what's happening.
Yeah, but it's like, it happened 5 minutes ago. Right?
I understand that, but I feel like maybe the audience didn't understand when they did that shot of the hat going down with the foil inside, that the audience didn't put 2 and 2 together.
But then why wouldn't they flash to the car with lettuce when that comes up?
Because he says it.
Okay.
He speaks it, that's why. She doesn't say, oh, I see you're wearing the Reflectatine in your hat again because you're afraid of a psychic blast. Yeah. But when the lettuce comes up, he's like, fuck, did we ever catch that truck with the lettuce? He says that.
Yeah.
And so that's why they don't need to do that. I don't know that they
flash to like young Wade.
Yeah, I don't know they
Like
need to do it per se, and I want, you know what I mean? Like, and I think the young Wade flashback, I think might be one part like to show us him having a flashback, but I think also one part like, hey, do we think that they know who that kid was?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, are we sure we know who
Like
that?
he's called Wade, but how many people can remember?
Nobody
this
calls
guy's
him
name is
Wade. Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody calls him Wade. So that's the other. I wonder if that was part of it too. There was a sense that they were like, you know what, just let's be safe, that people fully understand. Because at this point now, we're really asking them to be paying attention to a lot of stuff at this point, and to hold information from 5 weeks ago and all this kind of stuff. I think that might be what's happening here.
Yeah.
And I think that to the credit of like Lindelof et al., they understand that this is a TV show and it's not a one movie split up in a bunch of hour-long segments. So you kind of each episode is its own episode, right?
Yes.
And it's an issue of a comic basically. But within it though, they do try to keep the audience up to date. It's very rare that something happens in this show so far where I've been like, wait, who's that guy again? Like, they're pretty good about it, which is what happens on streaming all the time. I'm like, wait, who the fuck is this guy? Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah. And it's like, wait, am I supposed to know who this guy is from 2 seasons ago? What? Hold on, what?
From 2 seasons ago, and that was 8 years ago.
That was in the Obama administration. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so I think that's probably why those two things that's two reasons why those things are happening. Because one, it's to make sure that the audience is fully aware of what's happening, but also because it does, for him, it gives us that flashback feeling that he's re-experiencing that moment is my take.
All right. That makes sense.
I thought it was a great episode. I do like also that this is in the structure of Watchmen, where issues would have focuses on different characters. Not every issue had everybody equal. You know what I mean? Some characters had a lot more to do in some issues, and some characters had almost nothing to do in some issues.
Here's my question. What happens in Watchmen issue 5? Is that the Rorschach issue?
I don't know.
I mean, this show's not 12 episodes, so they're not doing a direct.
Yeah, it's not a one-to-one. It is issue 5 is Fearful Symmetry. It's got a whole lot of Rorschach doing investigation into the comedian. We have Moloch. This is the one where Moloch tells comedian Rorschach that he has cancer. We see the other characters, but like it's, I think, a little bit heavy on that. It's a little heavy on Moloch and Rorschach. This is the one where Moloch sets Rorschach up at the end to get captured by the cops.
Right, so it's before we get all the Rorschach flashback, because that's when he's in prison.
That would be next episode, the next issue. I mean, so it's not. We don't have that, but it has that that feeling. You know what I mean? Like, and again, it's not a 1-to-1 because this is not enough episodes to do a 1-to-1 to Watchmen. I loved it. I thought it's great. And this was the episode that made me really go, I think this might be the pinnacle of this era. Like, this is.
Yeah, I mean, they kill a dog, and that's what you love. So there you go.
What the
How
fuck?
do you like that? How do you like that? Oh, you don't like it when people do that to you? Because you do that kind of shit all the time.
This is the green tea has truly made you a monster. This is awful. You're accusing me of being a dog killer.
You do shit like that to me all the time.
I've never done such a thing to you. I am
You've
only
said I was a dog killer.
I'm only respectful to you, and I only let you say what you believe, and I support you in what you believe.
That's some bullshit.
All right, we'll be back again next week. Next week's episode is called This Extraordinary Being. It is episode 6, and the premise: deep under the influence of nostalgia, Angela gets a first-hand account of her grandfather's journey. So next episode is all flashback.
There you go.
It's pretty much all flashback next episode, if I remember correctly. I mean, there's other stuff. There is stuff, but like it's heavily her grandfather's story.
We learn all about her grandfather in this episode.
Learn a whole lot about a whole lot of stuff. It's a really important episode in terms of the larger story. But we'll be back next week. As Derek said, please, if you're listening to this on a podcast app, like and review us. Give us the 5 stars. If you don't want to give us the 5 or the highest number of stars, don't review us. If you're watching this on YouTube, like us, subscribe to us. It really helps. It's nice. Leave a comment. Tell your friends about us. If you want more of our stuff, go to patreon.com/cinemasangha, SANGHA. And if you want to rep our stuff, go to cinema-sangha.com, and you can find the web store, which is where Derek creates often baffling merch, which is delightful. It's
You
always
think Anti-Griselda is a cut.
Wait, I was gonna say, wait till the Anti-Griselda shirt shows up in the store.
Oh, I didn't come up with one, believe me.
But it's delightful. It's true art, because Derek has no interest in anybody buying these things. We don't. It doesn't matter to us, and so it's just true art for art's sake. So I think you should go check it out.
Things that catch my thought when I make them. Yeah.
Like the famous David Cornsweat mug.
Yes. I still think that one's genius. I really do.
I mean, it's funny. Like, I'm not going to say many of these things are funny, by the way. Like, many of these things are funny. It's just, I love that you make them with no concern if anybody's ever going to buy them.
Nope.
So it's great. I love it. We will see you guys again next week. Until then, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you be well. And we will see you across the Omniverse.